Woo! Suntem live!
Or do you counter
Let's
pick
go,
the
boys.
Typical answers would be the Kennen would work well with the dive
Vamos,
onto on with Rel.
Salut!
There's just not that many answers into Rumble, so
Hello.
I prefer to pick it away.
Ne auzim, Chad? Ne auziți bine?
You got a lot of questions again. His champion pool is quite wide. I mean, I'm not too worried. At the end of the day, looks like the tank pick, right? He's ready to lose lane, but try and win game.
It seeds lane a little bit more than something like a Kennen, but it gives you everything that you need in terms of exciting, and this is exactly what we know Nako for.
Bro, there's the squad at the front. There's about 5 people with Nako hats on, obviously representing Turkey. Absolute base. Now, if you want to buy those, go up, find out where they got them from, and we can work that out. Maybe try and get a giveaway later. But at least as we go through the second part of the man phase, walking away from that, we've got a top lane answer. We asked what they were going to set up with. Got a nice building of a front
Chiar
attack
nu sunt
here
atât
with
de
that
grea, dar
misfortune
Salut,
as well.
mai Fili, cum te simți la finala EU Masters?
Getting taken away.
toată viața am văzut.
Yeah, I'm looking at support. It's really difficult because a lot of the junglers are being pinched. Italy's still up and
Gen,
available.
practic,
I'm looking at
toți
AD
care...
as well.
Ia uite-l pe ăsta, vacă!
Hai mă, că-l vedem pe puțin, bă, aici.
BDSA, what do you think?
Bă, uite-l pe ăsta, vacă!
I think it really depends on how they want to approach the mid lane. Yone is something we've seen Riga play with a lot of success in the past.
Hello, hello.
Give Scuman access to looking for something like Aquilla, that's one of the rare AP junglers actually open. Shyvana is something we've seen in this tournament.
Hai să vedem ce bani vom vedea din echipa, din partea echipei BDS, nu știu ce echipe sunt astea.
You can easily lock in Shyvana into it, but in the
Ăla e
case you need
Vitality?
a marksman or the likes of a Yone in mid lane, so you
Ăla e
have good
Vitality?
split damage.
Care?
Oh, I like that
VITB.
call out, especially
Da.
since Yone in the tournament as well has oftentimes been winnable. It's been a big priority here. Smolder taken away as well.
Îmi dăghează
Lots of
perioadă
AD
de
mids
comp.
up and available.
Că
Vitality
ideea e
being
că până
the
acum,
case,
înainte
in
să
the
dăm
mid
că
lane
au
a little bit as
puține
well.
probleme
We also have
tehnice,
Forky, Lucian, you know, there's so
vreau
many
așa să dea
things
pic
you
pe
could
unul,
choose
dar
from.
cred că au pus
Good luck
la
with
mișto.
that now if you
Cred
want
că
to, or
ăsta
save
la
counter
mișto.
pick to mid lane, it's up to them.
Să văd ce monitoare au gen, mă.
Paranteză, streamul e în 2K, cică.
That's been rising in priority.
Mamă, cum se vede.
Nu prea pare de ca.
Could be a lot of different things. Don't want to
Uite-l
risk
pe
getting
vără,
hurt
mie sub
here.
birou.
I think ultimately Lilia is
Tu vezi cum joacă omul meu?
into the line.
Bă, zici că sunt eu 1 la 1.
Lili a luat de Iopa.
Another champion that can set up the misfortune to make sure that she's going to be successful.
Deci ideea e că până acum avem Rumble top, mă rog, Rumble poate să fie jucat și... Nu, oarecum nu poate să fie jucat. Bă, o să zicem multe prostii.
The stream is a bit too loud, is it?
And now it's up to Scuman to showcase
No problem, Brian. It's no longer loud.
The last AP champ up and available.
Sau trebuie să vorbim noi așa.
Bit more dive
Ia să văd.
alongside
Stai, mă, bag
Rumble.
Ia vezi mă că și am nu până la urmă. Na, nu, e la troll, e la
Câte
troll.
meciuri joacă băieții ăștia? 3 sau 5?
Viego's been hovered and now locked in.
Same damage type. Usually you don't go for something like this, but now they're really
Yeah,
killing
well,
the concept on the pick, on a
they-
GW. That's what
N-are cum
basically
să
what
nu.
the team comp is revolving around, killing that first target.
And I think for Rumble in particular, one of the most powerful champions in the game right now, him being solo AP is going to be very, very beneficial for them. Nobody's going to buy
Prea pe mijloc e camera și în meci. Stai mă liniștit că se schimbă în meci vere, n-ai treabă.
Bă, da, câte pretenții
It's
aveți
really
să
good.
știți.
They have shown Renekton into Yone in the playoffs. So it's a
Next
great
bit in
matchup.
game 1.
Yeah, so
Bun, deci avem așa. Wow, interesant, avem
Salut, Andrei.
Renekton mid versus Ione.
Walk us through because again we got
Ok, asta chiar e tare.
the lanes have changed hands a little bit with this Renekton R5.
Yeah, so ultimately, one of the things that Lilia is really good at
Te
is
recomandă de la
very fast
lumină
gear
la
speed, being really, really
cum este
good at
culorile.
invading and in early skirmishes. A strong laner like Renekton that will have pressure allows Lilia to do her thing.
Ce ai făcut cu mașina de erai la service? A stricat, mă, evacuarea, nu știu, suna prea tare.
got a lot of priority to work with in the mid lane and
Da,
in the
făcea
bot lane, but
un-
ours is the one being so weak, so utilizing that
Dădea
to
flăcări,
the
cred că e
limit
ceva
we can
stricat.
I mean, we got a lot of questions
Lasta.
because again they're coming in as underdogs, and when we talked about this matchup when the desk brought it up as well, it was all about the fact that BDSA
Luțu, Chad.
individually have outclassed their opponents.
Mamă, ne auzi o femeie cu boltul?
They're the first seed
Mamă,
for a
cum s-a
reason
pus să
because
moară
the
familia mea.
quality
Vezi că
of
mor
skill
de 3
on this
ori.
team is
Era între băiatul ăla cu Loganul.
Mamă, dar ne intra în la plus și a fost
throughout as
creștere.
well
Cum
with
se
those
conduc
individual
creștere de vere?
games solely taken by their opponents. The rest were clean sweeps.
Yeah,
The
it's a
rest
buck
against
only.
Heretics was an absolute smashing. To get through
Puțin cam așa, parcă au
semifinals
fix
that
în același loc.
cleanly and to get into finals
Nu, era
here.
să zic niște
Vezi că e șmecher rău de tot trofeul. Vezi că e tare rău de tot trofeul.
Dar eu acum mi-am dat seama că suntem pe leg stream, stai așa, că trebuie să urmări frumos. Mamă, deci erau să-mi scape cele mai frumoase cuvinte pe care
Nu
le-am.
te bă, 1 la 1 joc și așa mă joc și eu. Mamă, ăștia...
Am luat femei cu ei.
Iau capă,
Capă, capă.
So here we go on to the rift for EMEA Masters Summer
Ăștia
2020.
bine,
Te
Jerry.
fac pănică și Iulia
One
pentru
EMEA Masters trophy
prezentările.
between 10 of the players and 0
Uite-l pe băi.
trophies between 9
Să nu mai zic că din cauza
This is the
Ololosh n-am
farthest
ajuns să mă
BDSA
turn.
have gotten since
Bă,
2022
tu ajungeai, dar n-ai
and the
vrut.
farthest Vitality B have ever been. For new players and old players alike, this is the proving grounds for something greater as well.
And ultimately,
Ok, bun, apare chiar începe primul match chat. Hai să ne concentrăm pe bune, pe bune. Hai să ne concentrăm că începe primul match. Vrem să mă consider comentator aici? Sau vrei să...
players that gets promoted into
Vrei chat?
in the next year.
La 100 de like.
Pressure's on.
Așa.
Trebuie să ne mutăm. Să mă scot de tot?
Bă, nu, fii atent.
Mă, dar ce-au făcut băieții
E
ăștia?
puțin cam handicapat un pic.
A?
Au băgat băieții mei un bordă să facă reclamă la toți. Ok, da, e bine, e bine, e bine. Și facem un pic de...
Dar n-are cum, mă, că o să dispară ăla.
Păi de mai nu dispare, mă, nimic, așa rămâne. Nu dispare chestia din stânga, mi se pare incredibil. Pare...
N-am voie.
Nu, peste bordă nu ai voie. Acolo, în dreapta, jos.
Aici.
Sau în stânga, acolo, gata. E ok, mă, că până la urmă important e gameplay-ul. Spuneți-mi cum auziți pe chat. Pune și tu chat-ul să vedeți și noi
Vreau să mă bine.
E ok, chat? Ne auzim? Ne auzim, boys? Bun, hai să vedem. Băi, până acum avem un match-up super interesant. Pe bune, chiar e un match-up foarte interesant cu Renegade pe mid versus Ione. Aparent AP-ul din echipa de dreapta de la Vitality vine de la Lilia, în timp ce de la Blue Team se duce pe top de la Rumble. Băi, mi se pare foarte interesant că... Opa, 2 secunde, că aparent să bagă Renegade la creație. Dacă avea acolo W, cred că era cel mai probabil mort Ione. Dar e tare că a reușit să obțină avantaj de XP. Aici pe bot lane chiar avem un engage foarte frumos din partea lui... Mamă, am și uitat cum se numește campionul ăla, cum am mai văzut lui Rel. Aparent a ieșit un 3 Divan, dar uite, de asta vă zic de fiecare dată că ăsta, MF, mi se pare cel mai bun campion de divizie mică. Bro, a câștigat trade-ul pierzând absolut orice fază. Tot a reușit cumva. Asta mi se pare foarte interesant, dar vedem că ăsta e dezavantajul ei până la urmă, că nu are un disengage sau mă rog un dash, un ceva să fie puțin mai safe, dar aia e. Sunt curios cum o să reziste ăsta Ione pe mid versus Renekton. În timpul ăsta văd că topul e dominat acolo de Rumble, nu cred că o să aibă ce să facă Lilia match ăsta pe topside. Așa mai better. Bă, degeaba chiar e... Zi-mă dacă vezi că mie îmi place super mult comentariul. Ah, ok.
Eu mă întreb de ce e bara aia, gen, de ce ne-au tăiat jumate din ecran, nu înțeleg.
Ok, da, nu știu, e puțin cam ciudățel setup-ul, să zic așa, la băieții la stream, dar na, până la urmă, dacă asta au ales e ok. Bun, o să vedem aici un skirmish mai probabil de 3v3 pentru early crab ăsta. Wow, e insane câtă lume se bate pentru un crab, bro. Aia e insane, ok, o vedem și pe Lilia cu Red care vine. MF are o poziție destul de bună, aparent face acolo engage Alistar, încearcă și Rel Jin e ignorat efectiv de toată lumea, face primul kill, deschide match-ul cu un first blood. MF să vedem dacă reușește oare să facă kill-ul sau nu reușește. Și double kill pentru Blue Team la faza asta, în momentul în care a luat și scuttle-ul și tot early game-ul e câștigat în momentul ăsta. Dacă vor pierde cumva și fight-ul de la zi-mă, burlocii, că mereu le uit cum îi cheamă. Murloci, așa.
Avem aici un rip!
Hai te rog.
Nu am ce să mai vorbesc,
Nici mie îmi place.
vorbit tu.
Mie îmi place comentari. Ce mă, ce nu vă place?
Aoleu, Erti, tu ești.
Bro, când comentam eu meciuri de-astea pe... Unii nu vă jucați LOL, adevărat.
Adevărat.
De mult comentam turneele abonaților. E tare, mă, mie îmi place să comentez. Un Coran al lui Poseidon, o
Să-ți
vedeam.
mai pun o lumină?
Nu e bine. Eu așa sunt public, că mai încunecat. Ce vreau să zic? A, da. E bine că Lilia oricum și-a revenit un pic la CS, că a luat scatul de pe topside. Oricum, asta mi se pare interesant față de meciurile noastre clasice din solo queue, e că în pro play cam orice chestie, gen și un scatul.
O să se joacă.
Da, bă, eu ți-am zis, mă, că l-a băgat sub masă să joace. Orice chestie, și un scatter și un minion în plus contează foarte mult. Mamă, ce face Rumble aici pe top. Mi se pare că domină efectiv topul versus Casante. Mă rog, Casante o să fie mult mai bun în fight-uri, cei drept. Neapărat că e slab Rumble, că ultima dată de aia bună poate să câștige tot fight-ul. Hai să vedem pe Renekton, care cumva și-a bătaie de la Ione, atenție. Nu are avantaj de level nimic, vine Q-ul de la Ione, să vedem Q-ul.
this matchup, but
Na, mai
he
avut
blinds us for a reason.
da.
Yeah, not quite in the
Cam
threshold there
unlucky,
to flash
unlucky, unlucky,
forward, but
unlucky.
you can see, I think Yoppa's going to have a really hard time in these upcoming skirmishes.
Sam de joacă de sub birou că e foarte concentrat, posibil. De asta. Ok. Asta e chiar o decizie curajoasă de la băiatul nostru cu Viego, că începe Drake-ul instant, având băieții acolo oarecum vision pe river. Vine Alistar să curețe ward-ul, să vedem dacă o să-l găsească până la urmă pe Viego acolo la Drake sau nu. Da, aparent au info și o să vedem oare încă un fight pentru acest dragon. Atenție, dacă cumva Reti-ul pierde și fight-ul ăsta, poate să-și ia Dio de la early game. Foarte bună ultimată dată acolo de Ione și engage-ul lui Alistar, din păcate ia Alistar kill-ul. Încearcă Rel acolo să sară, dar scapă Renekton. Trebuie să-și folosească ultimata. Foarte multe chestii folosite în acest fight și cumva tot reușesc cei din Blue Team să câștige. Nu mai fac într-adevăr dragonul, te duc la voi grabs, dar clar încă un avantaj. Un kill pe Alistar într-adevăr, dar s-a mai scos o ultimată de Renekton, un flash, deci overall oricum este war. Te rog. M-ai chemat să comentez, frate.
A început Ione cu Bramble.
Da, ideea e că Ione și-a luat Bramble și mai probabil că e un match foarte greu și se reziste foarte greu pe lane, mai ales având în vedere că se joacă în pro play și nu în silver. E o decizie foarte ciudată, dar probabil forțată în același timp, că probabil Renekton s-a luat la counterpick. Nu am fost noi atenți, că am avut niște probleme tehnice și am început puțin mai târziu, deja când era un champion select, și nu am fost foarte atenți cine ce și-a luat prima dată, dar nu cred că s-a luat Ione în Renekton, sau probabil s-a păcălit cu picul de Renekton, să fie oare top. Posibil și asta, să-i fost flex pick Renektonul ăla. Nu știu, puțin ciudat, puțin cam dubioasă, pardon, alegerea asta cu Ione mid, mai ales într-un match de ăsta, da.
Dar cum alege un mid laner să joace Renekton mid? Cum trece de la Syndra la Renekton?
Bă, probabil, au luat Renekton prima dată, înțelegi, și l-au ținut pentru top. Când au văzut Ione mid, au zis, bă, avem deja Renektonul care bate Ione. Îl trecem pe mid și luăm ceva pe top. Dar și-au luat, nu prea le-a mers situația.
And the jungler is recalling, so Douglas not here, gonna be free.
I mean, it's still good to talk about BDSA in the early game. As you said, they can do it anytime.
Așa, hai să vedem, se dă, atenție, se dă start la dragon. Pare că nu au vision băieții, se încearcă a doua alternativă de dragon de data asta, dar se pare că se dă până la urmă finish. Bun, se ia și Infernalul, first Drake pentru Blue Team. O să zic Blue Team și Red Team pentru că o să mă încurc în abreviații și nu...
Dar ce echipă? Nu știm.
Da?
Nu știm ce echipă sunt.
Bă, da, dreapta e Academia la Vitality, în stânga nu știu. Chiar nu știu, e o echipă în care n-am urmărit-o. Bun, hai să vedem pe Rumble. Băi, cât damage poate să dea acolo Rumble, cât burn, cât damage m-ar veni pe secundă, că burst nu pot să-l consider. Ce face băiatul meu acolo, atenție, își dă ultimata Rumble. Vrea aici oare kill-ul? Nu, vrea să lase probabil low pe Xante ca să poată să ducă bază, sau în cazul unui fight posibil pe botlane, având în vedere că Viego este acolo pe botlane, să nu poată să-și dea teleportul Xante, sau dacă își dă o să fie foarte low și nu prea o să facă o diferență foarte mare la acel fight. Viego, atenție la un invade foarte two-faced. Nice. S-au prins random. Da, BDS, dar nu știu ce echipă e BDS-ul. Chat, eu chiar mă chinui aici. La 3 mesaje cu continuă mai fac, dacă nu vreți voi. Mie îmi place să comentez, dar o stau așa să vorbesc în continuu fără să ziceți voi nimic. Nu prea îmi convine nimic.
Ia uite-mă, a pus lumina în spate, ești prost?
Stai, nu, vreau să încep aici.
Păi nu l-ai pe ecran.
Continuăm. Păi nu mă, ca să că vă place să comentați, dar vreți să stăm gen basic să vorbim. Nu, pe bune, nu?
Da.
Că nu știm dacă le place sau nu.
Nu știu dacă se dau live-ul pe mut, ce să le fac?
De ce?
Să nu se audă peste tine. Comentați și voi alternativ?
Ok, hai că-ți fac pauze dacă vrei ca să vorbim. Dar asta nu prea, nu știu, nu...
Am și eu un pot
vrea.
să comentez și eu, dar mi-e silă.
De ce măi?
Glumesc,
Până la urmă e
glumesc.
live-ul tău. Bun, hai să vedem, bă, ok, un engage foarte frumos aici, dar din păcate nu cred că au ce să facă, probabil pun doar presiune, îl vedem pe Jin, își folosește ultimata doar să ia wave-ul cât mai repede, probabil vrea să ia foarte multe play-uri, au informația deja că majoritatea echipei adverse este pe zona de top. Renegade să facă foarte agresiv aici, Ione chiar și cu acel Bramble Vest, tot nu prea reușește să facă nimic. Vine Alistar, bună ultimată din partea lui Renegade, dar o folosește doar defensiv în momentul ăsta, doar să-și ia puțin heal. Între timp, echipa roșie pune acolo stăpânire pe voi Grabjeia. Și Jin aparent își dă recall pentru că a venit cu Sante la meci. Nu cred că putea acolo să țină Jin real. Mamă, ce trep urât și aici Ione. 3-1, era și momentul să răspundă cei de la Vitality, pentru că până acum au pierdut aproape fiecare fight. Dacă nu au ieșit, să zic, un pic mai nașpa decât ei, să zicem, s-au făcut kill, dar tot au pierdut mai multe chestii. Să vedem, o să urmeze un fight foarte interesant. Vedem ultimata de Rumble, unde să atelizeze până la urmă. Alistar pregătit de engage, foarte bună poziționare pentru Alistar la engage. Acolo este Jin în spate, este pe vision, nu prea știe, vine în spate, îl oprește Rel, se dă double TP în acel fight. Bună ultimată de Rumble, Rumble aparent topește tot, foarte bună ultimată de MF, dar din păcate dă doar în Alistar, care are ultimata deja pornită. Viego reușește cumva să scape, vine și Renekton topit de acel Rumble. Ione vine cu al doilea kill pentru echipa acolo pe MF, folosind ultimata, triple kill pentru Blue Team în momentul de față. Și vreau să vă zic că cred că a cam plecat puțin toată prima jumătate a meciului. 100%, nu are informația acolo Ione. Se oprește Rel, ce face? Ce face Rel? Mă rog, n-are cum să moară, într-adevăr, dar de ce? De ce? Foarte frumos fight-ul.
Și urmărim din nou acest replay și vom repeta exact tot ce a zis Stay My Fury.
Nu, la replay de obicei face o analiză mai tactică, gen.
Da,
vezi exact
mai
ce s-a
tactică.
întâmplat, uite cum a reușit Ione, de exemplu, să o prinde acolo pe MF cu ultimata.
Cum Casante l-a izolat pe Jin, de exemplu.
Exact.
Vezi că nu e sponsor.
The synergy between the members of BDSA, the way they bought time for themselves and really just outplayed Vitality was
Pot să beau acum, ce dracu să fac? Cum adică?
Apa nu are la branding chestii.
Now
ba
showing
da.
up the 7-1 on the scoreboard, 3k gold lead, and we keep talking about the early game of BDSA because of fights
Bun,
like
te rog, continuă.
Avem un AOE bitter de Lilia pe mid, care lovește minionii, lovește valul de minioni. Ione o interceptează acolo pe Rel, pe râu.
come through. Rika now ready for another whirlwind of events, but pulls away.
Bun, ideea e că cei din Red Team, cei din Vitality încearcă cumva să găsească acum o oportunitate să ia acel shutdown probabil pe Rumble, pentru că au pierdut foarte, foarte mult. Diferența de gold este destul de considerabilă, mai ales că vorbim de un meci de pro play și atenție, se spawnează dragonul. Până acum 1-0, un infernal pentru cei din Blue Team. Probabil, cred că o să urmeze oare un rush la acel Drake? Nu, nici măcar nu le iau un calcul. Ok, foarte ciudat gameplay-ul până acum, pentru că de obicei, dacă ești în echipa pierzătoare și ai oportunitatea să iei un obiectiv, nu stai de două ori pe gânduri, cam vrei să-l iei. Dar văd că băieții mei se cam plimbă pe hartă random, nu știu exact, posibil să ne dăm noi seama de tactica lor sau exact de ce vor să facă. Văd că se spawnează voi Grabji, probabil vor să ia în continuare, nu înțeleg, chiar nu înțeleg, dar nu înțeleg, treaba lor, da. Mare vechi. Voi Grabji, auzi, ăla, cred că e Herald.
Tu să ținem mă cu sticării pe față. Douglas.
Băiatul meu dă pe junglă. Da. Ok, aparent, na, până la urmă s-a dat startul la acel dragon. Vedem acolo recall-ul lui Alistar, da, aparent este pe vision și e până la urmă oprit. Cred că Lilia poate aici lejer să ia dragonul ăla, nu o să-i ajute atât de mult momentan, dar probabil pe late o să-i ajute puțin. Bună ultimată de partea lui Rumble acolo, să omoare tot wave-ul ca să nu își ia dive în momentul de față. Nu știu cât damage ar putea. Ok, vine și Lilia. Am uitat de Lilia în momentul ăsta. Bun, vine Rel, o să bage să tancheze. Ultimată din partea lui Lilia acolo. Mai tanchează Rel încă două hituri. aproape de limită. Foarte frumos dive-ul până la urmă. Vine, atenție, Viego, să vedem dacă reușește până la urmă să ia primul kill. Oare o să continue? Nu, se oprește. Până la urmă a fost 3 de 1 pentru 1 și având în vedere că s-a dat ultimată de Lilia acolo și cred că cam atât, nu? Da, cam atât. Mă rog, ultimată de Lilia pe ultimată de Rumble nu a fost chiar atât de rău.
Bă, un dive chiar foarte bun. Mă rog, aștept să obosești, că nu cred că o să comentezi tu.
Bun. Am până și 8 ore.
Da?
Comentezi cât vrei, normal. Așa.
Chipă gratis.
Nu contează că e, este plăcere.
Da?
Hai să vedem cum o să decurgă invade-ul ăsta, că am vor cel mai probabil control la topside. De ce? Probabil, ideea e că ne apropiem de minutul 20 nu o să spawneze baronul. Având în vedere că au un avantaj atât de mare, cei din blue team probabil vor vrea să forțeze oare un baron la cât de agresiv s-a jucat până acum. Nu văd de ce n-ai face chestia asta. Deci, în teorie, ar avea cu acel Jin. 2 secunde ne spune producția. Alo, da? Zi!
Producția a fost chemată, nu știu ce face. Am văzut, nu mai nimic.
Revin imediat ceea ce comentăm 2 secunde să ne spun numai de...
Se pare că ați rămas cu prezentatorul Șchiob. Astăzi îl vedem pe... Bă, am văzut o chestie foarte interesantă, l-am văzut pe Alistar, care are 2 puncte în Q. Ce se aude? 2 secunde. 2 puncte în Q și 2 puncte în W. Nu știu, nu știu maxat nicio singură abilitate. Omul și-a pus câte un punct în fiecare abilitate. Foarte interesant. Ce părere aveți de asta, chat? Nici o părere, foarte bine. Echipa... Academia de la BDS este cu 4000 gold aproape, mai sus decât Academia de la Vitality. Sau nu știu exact, cred, dacă nu mă înșel. Sper. Să dați la organizator să pună pauză? Da, real. A venit chat-ul nostru la Caterinca. Vreau să vedem că avem niște Ione, se pare că se bate cu Renekton fără nicio problemă. Nu vine să cred, Renekton care a fost luat ca și counter pentru Ione. Bine, nu am apucat să vedem exact draftul cum s-a luat, dar credem și noi. N-am putea să-i auzim și noi pe ăștia ce zic, că eu nu aud ce zic. Ia stați așa. Dați-mi și mie 2 secunde.
2 minutes now on both the Baron and the third Drake spawning. Not the most beneficial Drake for any of the two.
Dacă se aude neco, să-mi ziceți.
Could easily give up if they don't want to take the risk fighting yet. Ultimately for them now, they need to just buy time for themselves and get the 2 item spikes for all their champions, and then slowly they will be able to fight back.
A fourth second Nuck at the front of this though. Stand again with the shattering strike. Skewmon thinks about it, looking for the stun, but the root up is great, and Douglas is about to burn down. Paris wait for him to come out, but he can't move. He's stuck in place. Shock and awe in this game 1 grand final.
And they were holding the turret so well with that LTB, but in the end that Rumble equalizer on to Douglas, forcing the stopwatch into the kill afterwards. It's going to blow this game. At the very least, it's botling tower wide open.
That was absolutely heartbreaking to watch. He had flash up the entire time.
Revenind aici cu comentatorii noștri preferați.
They were able to CC, or rather layer the CC so well that he just had no chance of getting out. And with that, really good siege from the side of BDSA, who now have exploded their gold lead to 5,000. And they're able to recall with Drake spawning in just 40 seconds.
Yeah, I just think it's so difficult, right? Because you're going to wonder what your option is. And if you're in the Vitality B comms, it's definitely, guys, let's just go top. Let's give up. It's only second dragon for BDSA.
Vi-am lăsat și eu să vorbiți voi cu ei.
But BDSA, they could send some numbers up topside and defend the tower as well. So there's going to be no crossbow available to Dragon if BDSA choose not to give it over, because they're so far ahead.
At this point, the only play you have is just set up defensive vision, sit back, wait for BDSA to make mistakes. At some point, you have to hope that somebody's going to walk out of position, like we saw on Riga in the mid lane. Try to find those trap plays, try to set up those opportunities. And right now, by setting up some vision around the top lane, not only do they set themselves up to attempt taking the top tier 1, when BDSA goes for Drake, but they also have a high chance of finding
I
picks.
think you're looking at a potential overstep into a choke, into that big wombo combo. I keep going back to the wombo combo, but that, you know, as the team pulls further and further behind, that really does become the only course, you know.
I mean, you're giving them hope because, again, Vitality are that far behind, keep falling behind, and every engage we see Vitality B don't find themselves ahead at all. There's good damage on the stand, and it's denied until the curtain call follows through. Jobber loses his bloodthirster, flashes away as well, with more damage to follow suit.
Look at the TP down bot side. There's an engage coming through. Nako's down.
I mean, there's good damage as well. These are soul laners burning him, and whether it's a Rumble, whether it's a Yone, whether it's the Equalizer, whether it's Skewmon flying through. Nako's dead meat.
What a teleport play. You see the ward
Wow.
behind Nako when he tries to push up down in bot lane, and they pull off the play. That's very G2S.
Ultimately, this has been the issue for Vitality B this entire series. Their over-aggression, the overextensions, all these plays that they don't have to make. They need to sit back, they need to be more patient, or BDSA will just continue to explode their gold lead even further.
And what I love as well is it's partly because BDSA don't let them sit and be patient, right? BDSA always looking for the next play, always looking for something else. Sleep does come through, but Paris is there to defend. Stan makes a full engage with the Magnetar. It's a two-man, but Rika's surviving for so long. Look how deep Shayak has gone. Look how deep Paris is. Is there more to it? Vitality B getting something, and that's good. But as BDSA look to disengage, it's only one kill for now, while this Rumble has fun in the top lane.
Flash invested to find the kill onto Rika. They're going to be able to get back and defend top lane tower as well. So not much lost on side Vitality B, and just a kill picked up.
So that's something. That's at least something.
These are the moments you need to look for. Eventually, you're going to see the overextensions. You just have to...
Da, cam greu să-și revină Vitality aici. Au avantaj foarte mare de gold BDSA față de VITB. VITB, nu știu cum se zice. Use Twitch? Use Prince Twitch? Ce zice? Ceva zice. Mă, foarte interesant boardul ăsta. Așa, mă rog. Au pus ea acolo, nu mă știu. Nu.
Or LFL, I should say.
Oh, the kidnap.
The right region, the kidnap is good. Paris gets taken away, so it is a 1-for-1, but over the wall, Rika gets cheeky with it as Joppa loses his barrier. LFL much more prominent when you look at that. A 1-for-1, you'll take it.
Nako kind of saving the play there, taking the Alistar over the wall, but there's the pick potential we said from Kadui's Jhin. Any kind of damage, and layered on top of that with the W, it means someone's picked off, and when you're contesting this Baron vision, it becomes incredibly hard to play in the fog of war. I will say something for Vitality B, something good, is that BDSA's Baron rush, it's very slow. They have a Jhin 80 carry rate, really typical to be quite slow, so these kind of dance, it will never really amount to anything, unless a lot of Vitality B fall beforehand.
Right now, I want to see Vitality B prove to me, prove to the world that they can play slower. They have certainly read the book that their main team is following. This has been their issue in the LEC as well, just over-aggression, fighting. And we've seen it a few times. They can't find picks, they can't find these openings. And it's not over yet. 5k gold lead in a game like this one, on a big stage, is nothing.
It's not over, and I like it again. You keep saying it because I had that slip, calling it LPL because of the speed that Vitality B want to match for BDSA.
Da,
and
Fury.
while we've talked this to death, again, BDSA waiting in bush, looking for the pick, but Sten turns it around. Storm is there. We're going to get a lilting lullaby. It's buffered out with Skewmon getting space, but Douglas, in the meanwhile, is taking too much damage. Shayak's here with his ulti. Rika's away. He gets stunned up, and BDSA, they've taken a bit from the edge of this fight, but the Equalizer says no! Janax flies in, and this guy knows he's better. Vitality B get torn apart, and while Nako could try and redeem, there's no one left to help him. An Equalizer, a curtain call, and for game one, Vitality B, those curtains, they're falling fast.
BDSA, they try, and they do punish the overextension from Vitality B. It looked okay with Douglas's flash forward.
Nu vine să cred cât de mult încearcă Vitality să înfrângă echipa BDSM, dar aceștia au un avantaj de 7000 gold Nu îmi vine să cred. Un avantaj imens din partea echipei din partea stângă.
And now BDSA almost 10,000 gold.
Care au avut și un early game foarte, foarte bun. Impresionant acest gameplay. Avem un replay aici la acest gameplay de la Rumble, dacă ne uităm. Doamnelor și domnilor, așteptați teleportul de la Rumble, care va apărea în curând în partea de jos a hărții. Nu este un teleport, de fapt acesta a sărit cu Infernal Blast Cone-urile, care urmează să dea un flash în echipa inamică. The Equalizer distruge echipa Vitality B. Nu-mi vine să cred. JNX, wow! O formidabilă performanță din partea acestui Rumble. Mai multe de la co-comentatorii noștri.
They're not going to be winning a front to back at this point, that's for sure.
You're asking for a lot, and again, we were hoping to see Vitality B get that dream engaged, but now the gold is even further against them. 10k gold lead just about as BDS look for the siege, but Proxar, he called it. He said, let's look at that Renekton flank, and Kadui is about to get thrusted upon. Chayek is there looking for the stun, but Paris may have saved the cleanses there to flash away.
Cleanse, wow.
Equalizer again! It's just so perfect. A reset for Skumon, a setup for Rika. Not go to buffer away, but Vitality B are knocked into the skies. Munich can hear the thunder, but it's not that at all. It's just Paris setting them up.
Kadui, he flashes away from the engage. The siege is going to continue, but it's always BDSA favored. Yopper's ultimate. It looked like it was going to be the one to save the game, but it gets interrupted instantly.
Such clean team fighting we're seeing here from BDSA. In this particular instance, they had to react so quickly to the engage coming from Vitality B, and they were on point, they were ready. And it is so difficult for Vitality B to find these openings. They're trying over and over again, but at this point they're basically taking their head and slamming it into a brick wall. It ain't working anymore.
9-0-6 on Skumon this game. He's having the game of his life right now. But take a look at this from Shayek. He goes forward onto Kadui. A great idea, but Kadui flashes away, he cleanses, then flashes away, or just walks away. And that's everything gone, right? You have Sterax, but you're not going to live this combo.
Yep.
And in the end, watch this Misfortune ultimate. I was thinking, maybe, is this the play to come back as they funnel into it? But no, the Paris saves it. And is BDSA favored.
Little overstep from GNX there, dies to the turret in the end, but of course you don't care about those. The gold lead continues to explode even further, and such impressive play from the side of BDSA here in game 1.
Tier 2 up topside taken as well. And now the question is, how do you break tier 3s? Because it can be quite difficult. You could just walk up siege, sink the waves up, and drop a Rumble ult.
Speaking of Rumble, holy damage! He is not playing around. He told us he's going for the trophy today, and he was not joking. That is brutal to watch.
The fill-in
27k.
The fill-in for BDS, you know, again, when he came in through the LEC, he wasn't mucking around then. Rika has to ulti out though,
Wow,
so maybe an opportunity for Vitality B, but remember, again, the item disadvantage is still there. They're going to get a lot more than that.
And it just feels like what the Death said is so true. Genax is such a complete player. No matter what you do, you can't leave the Rumble up and open. It's too overpowered, and then you have Genax on it. Layer that with the team fighting, and it's just over.
Oh my god, Equalizer will show you that. There's a Misfortune ult onto Paris, and not Skumon. They lose the engage, so BDSA, the cow is down. We've only got one left in the audience, so maybe that's good for Vitality B, as we've got 4 members running down mid 5. Correct myself, as Nucko is low, but out of ulti power.
And what can you do? They've got so much wave clear that if you try to siege...
Even with numbers disadvantage, right? It's huge, Nucko! No, almost dies in the back end.
Really good attempt here from Vitality B, and while they're unable to push and get any tower, still 0 taking this entire game, by the way. They managed to buy a bit more time.
Ce fight au jucat aici, ești prost? Cât de bine au jucat, bro! Crește! Chat-ul. Nu știu, eu mă simt ciudat dacă nu văd chat. Iau de băiatul meu cu vaca, chat. Tu Alistar. Ha? Ia uite. Tare rău tot.
Bă, Diego, ar trebui să mai tacă.
Diego, auzim într-un minut. Un minut de pauză. Un minut de pauză. Contează foarte mult și exclusiv moderator în caz că nu știu. Bun, hai să vedem. Da, și voi pe chat. Bun, sunteți gata? Mamă, dar e 17-7. Mamă, chat, avem un stomp insane de mare. Bă, mi se pare... Mă rog, nu știu.
Iar m-am apucat oboseala aia, rău.
Ce ai, mă?
Nu știu.
Vezi că chiar e șmecher meciul, vezi că chiar au jucat super bine băieții. Mi-a plăcut, dar nu știu, sper să nu fie one side tot best of 5 ăsta. Pentru best of 5. Așa?
Chiar peste.
Să sperăm că nu o să fie one-sided pentru că altfel nu mai e has pentru noi. Dar o să vedem. Nu zic neapărat că nu vreau să termine 3-0, deși ar fi boring să termine 3-0. Un 3-2 e cea mai bună finală posibilă. Dar chiar dacă s-a terminat 3-0, aș vrea să văd un meci în care ar răspunde și Vitality cumva, nu să fie 17-7. În momentul de față au cum să câștige doar dacă îl prind pe Viego sau pe Jin pe picior greșit ca să ia bounty-urile alea, să poată să-și revină, să pună, nu știu, bounty pe MF, I guess, că altcineva, MF sau Lilia.
Totuși nu înțeleg de ce Viego ar avea bounty atât de mare când Ione e ăla cu bounty cu peste 3000 gold avantaj față de Renegade.
Bă, sistemul lor, fiind jungle, nu știu. Nu știu, fiind jungle poate se calculează altfel. Cine știe?
Adevărul e că are 9-0, adică da.
Are 9-0, 215 CS, chiar e destul de tare. Bun, aparent băieții cred că se pregătesc pentru un setup la Baron. Nu, aparent chiar îi dau start. Da, pe oricum la scorul ăsta chiar nu ar trebui să fie frică. Plus că l-avem pe Rumble în poziție foarte bună defensivă. Să poată să-i oprească probabil cu ultimata. Și vedem oare că vine ultimata de la Rumble. Bun, Alistar îi mai ține acolo, să ia Baron, atenție, începe și un fight. Alistar își dă acolo ultimata, să vedem pe Rumble. Jin dă drumul la cortină, cum s-ar zice. Bună ultimată din partea lui Ione. De altfel, unde nimerește acolo 3 persoane. Nu cred că au ce să mai facă cei din Vitality. E efectiv ace după ace ce se întâmplă în fight-urile astea. Vedem pe Viego acolo, o ia pe MF, da, face triple kill-ul băiatul meu deja pe spate. În timpul ăsta am văzut că cei din Blue Team o alergau pe Lilia, nu ai cum să o prins, dar se duc pentru un end și cred că ăsta o să fie finalul primului match. Da, Lilia nici măcar nu se mai întoarce în bază. Băi, nu se mai întoarce în bază că nu are cum să dea de vla așa ceva. Și ăsta e finalul primului match într-un best of 5. Nu mai știu dacă cei care câștigă acum în neumea asta se duc mai departe pentru un spot în leg sau chestii de genul.
Cred că se duc direct în final al meciului, nu știu.
Nu, finala, mă, nu, se duc, nu știu, poate să mă vedeze. Gata, mă, putem să, e ok, e ok, bun. Bă, vedeți că chiar a fost tare, eu îi dau bani lui Diego, că mi-a mie chef. Îi dau bani lui Diego, bă, vedeți că chiar a fost tare meciul, mie chiar îmi place, ești nebun? Mie chiar îmi place să comentez chestiile astea. Mă rog, momentan e doar 1-0, nu s-a terminat meciul. Nu s-a terminat seria, pardon. Până la urmă, oricând, sunt finale care s-au întors de la 2-0 la 3-2, adică despre ce vorbim, știi? Chiar a fost interesant, meciul puțin one-sided așa față...
Sunt amândouă echipele din această țară care au același steag.
Posibil.
Era stecat.
Posibil să fie. Dar vezi că chiar s-a jucat super interesant. Nu știu ce ar face acolo. Renegade mid ăla nu prea a fost o decizie foarte, foarte înțeleaptă. Am văzut un 0-3. Nu prea am văzut să-i făcut neapărat ceva. Și Santi mi s-a părut că a fost o problemă foarte, foarte, foarte mare din ce am văzut. Pentru că nu a putut să câștige absolut niciun fight, cât asta vorbesc și băieții acum.
Nu sunt foarte multe persoane.
Unde?
Acolo nu are, nu uiți.
Părea că e full, nu?
Nu e... Nici scaunele nu sunt full.
Da.
Suntem mai multe persoane aici.
Ok, hai să vedem și astea publicitare, chiar sunt curios la ce fac băieții reclamă, ia.
Vrei să le și auzim sau?
Ok, și eu sunetul ăsta.
Ți le-ai imaginat sau ce?
Nu? Ba nu. Hai cu și... ce a făcut mustăcioar?
Freely using his arenas coup.
Kindred cautiously cook Kit Kat cupcake.
S-a băgat. Ar trebui să aveți și noi reclamele noastre.
Kit Kat cupcake.
Tu de-aia, tu mergând pe canapea, spunându-te, dar ce ne jucăm noi astăzi? Păi da, astăzi mă joc. Știi? La Kit Kat. Cumpărați-vă Kit Kat! Cu linkul din descriere.
N-am voie.
Even the biggest champ
Ce?
needs a
N-am
break.
link-uri în descriere.
Kindred cautiously cook
Asta Caterin, că
Știu.
vrei.
carefully using Katarina's cute
nici
cookie
done.
cutters.
Ce mă?
N-ai voie donați.
Cum adică? Hă?
N-ai voie.
Bro, din-aia trăim!
Cred.
De-aia trăim. Boys, nu uitați, dați acolo câte un like, ne ajută super mult. Dacă dați câte un like și un share la stream, pentru că, uite, în 3 minute o să înceapă următorul match. Cu scaunele astea șmechere de la Secret Lab, de la avem și noi.
Am link-ul, dar nu le-am pe ecran, gen.
Da, ok. Parcă ați fost voi când încercați build cu bronzalei. Bă, nu fiți, bă. Ideea e că în realitate oricare din meciul ăla și din cei care au pierdut și din cei care au câștigat ne-ar fi spart în genunchi pe toți, da? Deci ne-ar fi bătut, de ne-ar fi bubuit creierii pe toți. Dar la nivelul ăla vă dați seama că se vede o diferență gen gata, din fight-urile alea două de la început, deja meciul s-a dus deja în favoarea la băieții de la BDS și gata, nu mai avea ce să facă, doar să profite de greșeli, dar nu prea au fost. A jucat foarte clean. Nu-ți mai la zi, oricum tare, mulțumim de sub, Remus. Nu cred, dacă era Ololosh în locul Rene era altceva. Posibil altceva. Bine rău? O să vedem. Dar altceva sigur era. Da, nu știu ce să zic, chestia cu AD mid, mai ales în pro play, nu prea sunt eu de acord așa, dar cine sunt eu să comentez că e până la urmă. Dar prefer mai mult un control mage, real, în momentul în care ai o echipă și poate să te țină, poate să te protejeze bine în fight-uri, un control mage e Dumnezeu în fight-uri. Nu știu, AP-ul în general mi se pare cel mai puternic în tot jocul. Părerea mea. AP-ul în general. Pentru că majoritatea lumii nu prea-și fac iteme de Magic Resist. Dacă nu sunt 3-2 de zi, Mage în inimic.
Păi ăla cu Casante și-a făcut. Ăla cu Casante și-a făcut.
Era versus Rumble pe lane. Atât. Era versus Rumble pe lane, dar dacă era versus un set, zic eu că nu-și mai făcea.
Păi nu-și mai făcea, da.
Da, mă refer. Dacă e mid-ul mereu AP, nu să-ți mai facă nimeni Magic Resist. Maxim în late în chestii, pentru că dacă își fac cumva Magic Resist, o să-i spargă de carry cu topul și jungla. Gen, știi? Eu așa o văd de fiecare dată. Dar îți dai seama, în solo queue când îți iei tu, nu știu, zic, casa din mid, și ăla Evelyn jungle și mai e ăla. Ce mai juca un brand suport.
Franța, amândoi?
Da, în Franța. Nu? Hai e Franța, da. Deci orice ar fi, francezii au un winner. Oricum ar fi.
Cum au ajuns, mă, două echipe din Franța în...
Păi în Franța mare parte sunt bugetele mari, investească în jucători.
Și în România de ce nu?
În România?
Jucătorii ăștia profesioniști care ne suferă.
A doua cea mai mare echipă din România a fost aia, ca idee, gen. Și uite-l pe fărul meu, are LED-uri pe ele și prost? Tare. Da, acum vedem din nou toate fight-urile. Să zic așa, fight-urile decisive, oarecum, gen din fight-ul ăsta s-a cam pierdut direct în meci. Ia, ăsta nu l-am văzut, nu?
E tare asta.
Bă, ideea e că a sincronizat de fiecare dată foarte bine Rumble ultimata cu Ioni, mi s-a părut. Că de fiecare dată au sincronizat-o foarte bine.
To be a Master Finals Summer 2024. I'm Jeannie, this is Dagda, and we're joined with Sola. Welcome.
Hello.
Lovely to have you. Let's talk about this game.
Da, acum practic ce auzim pe fundal o să fie o scurtă analiză. Exact ce am vorbit noi mai devreme, cam asta o să încerce lumea acum să deslușească ce s-a întâmplat, băiatul meu cu Biblia acolo în mână, cam asta o să facă de fiecare dată. Da, foarte frumos, văd deja scaunele. Bă, oricum tare, dar sper că... Uite, bă, că...
Da, sunt telefoanele, frate. Zic eu, alea sunt persoane...
More of an actually in-game issue
Uite și acolo.
nurse or anything like that.
Tot persoane, peste tot.
Ce acolo?
Oh!
Ia
uite ce luate scaunele. Din fața scenei. Din rândul 4. E gol!
Lasă-mă, bă, crezi că chiar a fost ok. Chat, credeți că se termină 3-0? Credeți că se termină 3-0 sau nu?
Yeah, and I also feel like the comp from Vitality B falls apart really quickly once you are not.
Să le zică cineva să nu se mai chinuie cu analiza. analiza că ai făcut de cea mai bine decât ei. Bă, eu zic că am analizat meciul că s-a putut de bine. 3-0 cred că o să fie. 3-1, pardon. Bă, e posibil, nu știu, nu prea mi-a plăcut draftul, nu știu exact ce se mai joacă în pro play, dar a fost un draft cam haotic din partea mea, mai ales la Vitality. Nu știu, mi s-a părut foarte haotic draftul. Au încercat ei acolo să coacă ceva, dar Renegade ăla trebuia să-l spargă pe Ione în early game, Ione râdea Ololosh de Bramble versul ăla, dar vezi că cred că l-a salvat. Cred că i-a salvat Lane. Cred că i-a salvat Lane, uite, ăsta mi se pare că a fost începutul și sfârșitul, să zic așa. Pentru că, uite, Jin a fost lăsat efectiv să dea hituri, nu-l gena absolut nimeni, a apucat acolo să dea la Lilia, îl vedem pe Jin cum așteaptă, MF nu a apucat să facă trade-ul de kill-uri, foarte bine a jucat acolo Alistar cu range-ul și da, cam asta a fost, gen, în punctul ăla s-a mai făcut încă un fight după faza asta, tot la Dragon, l-au pierdut și pe ăla la fel de dezastros și de acolo, nu cred că mai aveau băieții ce să facă, gen. Da, exact, mi s-a părut coordonarea foarte slabă. Mi s-a părut coordonarea foarte slabă de la Vitality. Nu știu, ori a fost în cauza la comp, ori a fost în cauza că aveau alt gameplay. Uite, și aici ăsta a fost fight-ul în care s-a consacrat tot avantajul celor de la BDS, uite. Gen, Jin într-adevăr a fost acolo izolat de Căsante. MF nu a fost cea mai strălucită ultimată din viața ei. Vedem Q și ultimata lui Ione foarte, foarte bune acolo, bătând-o pe MF. În timpul ăsta Rumble face double kill, enorm de mult de mici de la Rumble. Îmi pare rău, nu știu, campionul a trebuit să-l nerfeze. Enorm de mult de mici de la Rumble. Și de la chestia asta mi se pare că acolo s-a dus, gen, acolo s-a dus meciul. Nu mai avea ce să mai facă. Orice vrei să faci era over.
Yeah, especially as you were saying, once you fall behind, you don't get that wombo combo access anymore, like the Lily into the MF, and then you've got like these big bruises.
Asta încearcă și băieții aici să-și dea seama ce vorbesc ei acolo. Dar
it felt like when we kind of got to the mid portion of the game that they were still trying to find ways to fight back. Like they were matching the 3v3 pressure that was coming through from BDSA. They were trying to find moments on sides and they did catch them out sometimes. But
nu uitați să dați câte un like, boys, ajută super mult. Ok, uite, îl vedem pe Căsante aici. Nu pot să cred că l-au pe... ok! Huge, bro, huge. Huge. Doamne, ce au făcut. Aia n-am văzut-o, cred că am plecat atunci, ce mai probabil. Da, deja oricum Viego, insane. Viego cu kill-uri, ia-ți adio, tată. Ia-ți adio, e un fel de Catalina pe mic, doar că mai bun.
Really hammered home at the start of today and said that both of these teams need to be able to get into, and they perfected this time around. But also,
da, de afară normal, că gen dacă jucam 100% probabil să mai făceau greșeli sau chestii, dar până la urmă de asta suntem aici să comentăm, facem sportul românilor. Ia uite-l, povărul meu de la Belciugatele. Paru să-l cheamă pe el.
Team BDS. Nu e BDSM. Nu, dar zic, au alt nume, gen, au nu e BDSM ăla.
Păi da, au e de la Academy.
Păi și Bu de la ce?
BDS se numește echipa, nu știu exact.
Nu, ultima. La Vitality B.
Probabil pentru Liga B, gen, sunt. Dai seama, sunt academiile la echipele mari, gen, cum ar veni. Da, băieții mei cam analizează, eu zic că mi-am făcut treaba până acum.
Mulțumim de analiză, te mai feri.
Ce am văzut? Nu mai fi ironic, că mă
vinde Ubisoft Grotopia din nou? Cum adică? N-are cum. Stai, scuze, n-avem voie să vorbim de alte jocuri. Foarte bine ai făcut-o, neironic? Bă, da, nu e nimeni ironic aici. Chifare olo. Eu?
Nu știu, mie îmi place, de mă să comentez meciuri. Nu știu de ce, n-am nicio idee.
Real, eu o punem aici și dormeam.
selection. Vitality had that red side coming into that first
Dacă
game.
mă
They
lăsai
said that this
singur,
could be
bă,
a
nu-ți bate
potential
joc.
win
Păi nu-mi bate, dar
condition. You
mie
could send
sunt.
your top laner up for success, you could help your bot lane out, but it felt like they weren't necessarily able to capitalize off of it, and they picked it again. So the changes here in draft that you would like to see,
Ce?
what would they be?
Dacă vrei tu te întinde în
Honestly,
față.
I actually don't want to
Nu,
see a huge amount of changes. I think I mean,
Au,
Solo was
după
already saying
volumul
it wasn't
Eldorado
really
din
a
nou acolo sub
draft diff for
scaun.
me. I think they came in with cool things that they could have operated on, but I think the operation was faulty. They didn't really get the setup
Bă,
that
dar
they
de cine ne uităm-
wanted.
ne
They
uităm pe
wanted to
YouTube?
try and contest for early
E
skirmishes
2K.
with like big level 6
Bro.
wombos, having some nice skirmishing power.
For
with
full
Renegade,
experience join to our channel.
got that to
YouTube
work.
e mie
Yeah, I
mestăs.
completely agree. I
Și
think
noi pe ce
also
canal
them
suntem?
choosing red side again
Ăsta mi l-a
shows
dat.
that they
E de la
understood
Lec
the
ăsta.
plan they went in,
Da, avem borderul ăla.
especially in the best
Da, ăsta e linkul care mi l-a dat.
so pretty shallow in
Ah.
the
Ia
way
uite.
to play the map, which makes it really easy
Ia uite
to
acum cât de
find
micuți
ways
suntem
to
acolo.
disable your comp.
Suntem
Game
ca...
2, I'm totally agree, we see
Aoleu.
a really similar draft and just a better execution.
That's also the beauty of when you're looking at these
Băieți,
series,
am descoperit
especially
ceva.
when it's fun, you have the chance to try things twice and then
Doamne.
maybe
Bă, dar
that's
niciunul
the
n-a văzut pe
decision
ecran,
to go
bă.
ahead. But I think as well,
Chiar eu
because
trebuia să văd
we
tot.
have now seen what Vitality is comfortable playing. They know they're going to go for these
Pare că se vede și mai
things,
bine.
quote unquote, and as a result, they also on there and could have
Ba
preparation
da,
to up their sleeve.
ba da.
For
Să
BDSA,
vedem
they have a
mult
choice.
mai
Like,
bine.
no one surprised Reeker's gone for Yone. No one surprised we have a rumble at the top point. Oh my god, a Jhin. It's like these are all things
Este
that
vreun
we're
român?
doing
Da.
with this. So I think this was a bit of an experimental game plan for a lot of them.
O, Doamne.
Hey, can we get some spunky
Deci
in
dacă ne e prea
Can we have
târziu.
some answers to these?
La
I don't think
asta,
necessarily
mă,
that the game plan
aici. Nu, în finală nu e niciun român, sunt toți francezi și nu știu dacă
Sorry, I think
au
the game plan failed
importuri
versus
până
the
echipă.
actual like
Normal că au.
the thought process coming into
Zici
the
că
series.
sunt
So
sper să
I
nu
wouldn't,
vreau.
as
Da?
we say, be
Da,
surprised if we
vreau.
get anything massively different. Maybe it's not Renekton. Maybe you try and find a little bit more
Franța.
pressure, like
Ah,
level
ok.
1, level
Da, da,
2
și
or in
că
mid lane, so that
în
then
Franța
you can find those advantages.
nu
You're
prea
not
mai
getting
cunosc
pushed out, so you
francezi.
have to reset level
Aha.
3 for the
Și să ce?
Renekton. Like there are little things that you
Pare
can
că
do
e de la
differently,
mine,
but I
nu.
think it'll be a similar story.
Un buzău.
Well, we're going to find out shortly as
Vezi
we're
cum
ready to
e
head into
căsătorit,
the
ești prost?
second game
Da.
of the series. So
S-a
head
făcut
over
loop
to
de ăla, ai văzut?
Masters. We have Hysterix, Aragon as
Ia uite-l
well
pe Cathy,
as
bă,
Brox
boss.
already. So guys, take it away.
Yeah, Broxa got a bit of a hype.
Uite, vă seamănă cu
Oh
Broxa.
my God. Yeah, Aragon.
Ești prost?
Hysterics. But Broxa!
I'll take it.
Ah,
Holy
el e.
moly! That's right. Well, again, prodigies that have come out of the same system again, representing the region. It's nice to have you alongside me because after game one, I feel like our BDSA expectations have been hit. Where we're now putting the edge back on Vitality.
E Vitality
Bring out
B,
those red
gen
side
de la-
targets once again.
Unul
B,
are-
de la
unul are-
albină.
unul are țipil pe obraz, acum
They
am
didn't have
văzut.
trouble
Dar n-ai
doing the
văzut,
draft.
e
In fact,
B.
they actually got
Vitality
matchups
B,
they were
de la
comfortable
B,
with counterpicking in a lot
E
of these
albină.
roles.
B.
They need to step it up in game.
Bun, aparent intrăm în...
În cel de-al doilea meci avem aici un ban pentru Varus de la BDSA, care este urmat de un... Mult cam mult sau de carry banați? Ce zici?
Da, pe de carry e rolul principal din competitiv.
Oare de ce crezi că a banat Vai și Maokai? Oare să fie target ban?
Nu, probabil au jucat mai multe compuri. Ideea e că noi nici n-am urmărit absolut tot parcursul lor și probabil au anumite compuri care au consacrat sau anumiți campioni care s-au folosit să facă anumite compuri în competiție în sine, știi? Și probabil de acolo le blochează.
Văd că le-a banat direct Rumble-ul de meciul trecut.
Da, păi nu aveai cum să lași Rumble-ul la open. N-aveai cum să lași Rumble-ul la open niciodată.
Foarte ciudat să banezi așa din meciul trecut o chestie.
Păi, dacă a funcționat foarte bine, bro, Rumble a fost principalul motiv pentru care ei au pierdut toate fight-urile. În afară de fight-ul de la Dragon de la level 3 sau 4 cât avea atunci, în afară de ăla, toate fight-urile în early game unde au și contat, le-au pierdut în cauza lui Rumble. Le-au câștigat ceilalți datorită lui Rumble.
Ești curios de brandul ăsta.
Stai să vedem, de aparent s-a luat Arelul din nou. De data asta de partea câștigătoare. S-a luat Arelul.
Mamă, cum joacă, mă.
Chiar joacă pe spate. Chiar n-are chef.
I think Vitality B, they just want to change it up. They want to have more pressure, more threats. And I'm curious to see how the brand is going to pan out.
Vedem din nou pe Nunu, pare că e ceva glumă între ei probabil, că toți au loc-in la Nunu. Așa, vedem Alistar Brand. Ok, Brand e puțin ciudat pentru că se joacă pe peciul trecut. Noi suntem pe 16, nu acum, sau pe
Se
17.
joacă pe două pe
Ah, noi suntem pe 17 acum, bravo. Deci Brand încă e super viabil în jungle în momentul de față. Că acum l-au distrus, în 17.
Da.
That's what I'm talking about.
Bun, deci Brand poate să fie jungle, poate să joace pe carry, gen bot lane. Așa? Și dacă te enervezi, multe și pe mid. Ai 3 roluri pe care poți să-l folosești.
E3.
3. A, ce e fapt? Și Tom? Unde mă?
Ăla e al 5-lea.
Ce suport deja Alistar viața. De-aia 3 roluri.
Mă rog, da.
Asta ziceam. Gen pentru ce?
Iar
nu, da.
Mă, care e glumă între ei?
No, știi, clar e un haz între ei cu Nunu. Vedem că să ia Talia cu Tristana. Iarăși din nou două flex pick-uri.
Flex plicuri. Da, adică comentez.
Că Tristana poți să joci ori mid ăla de carry, Talia la fel tot jungle sau mid. Ok, să ia Corki, bă, chiar nu înțelegi unde să duc fiecare.
Să vedem când vom vedea o Kiana. Sunt foarte nerăbdător să o văd pe Kiana aleasă.
Ok, acum se banează Renekton. Nu cred că a ieșit atât de bine Renektonul ăla, dar puțin ciudat, sunt curios ce probleme o să aleagă băieții de la BDS aici, pentru că au făcut aici un ciorbă de comp. Mă rog, iese, până la urmă știm unde e suportul ăsta, la ambele echipe.
Ei,
Ce?
niște rail jungle.
Da, corect, s-a mai văzut, TF-ul se banează. Da, vezi că chiar era pericol TF-ul cu Corki în echipă. Puteau să aibă mobilitate foarte mare pe hartă, pentru Pegasus și cu ultimata lui TF. Dacă voiau să joace numai la pick.
Că nu știu dacă mai are package.
Mai are, e 16 kg ăsta. Nu? Eu așa știu, cred. Eu cred că dă 16,
Nu mai urmăresc pe ce.
Vedem acum un meci. Dacă vedem în bază package, ăla e.
E Sforce banată.
Ok, vedem pe Alistar vac acolo, pentru un talent. Bă, MF e un campion foarte. Am înțeles și au banat MF, probabil să gândesc că Tristana e în mid. Au banat MF probabil gândesc că Tristana e în mid și Talia jungle, 100%. 100%, pentru că dacă Brent se duce jungle, o trimit pe Talia jungle.
Nu știu ce crezi că e.
Eu zic că contează foarte mult ce va alege acum cei din Vitality, pentru că dacă Brand e confirmat ca jungle, probabil să duce Talia ca mid.
Mă, dar tu nu știi cum e să fii într-o echipă pro, să vezi cum se fac drafturile, gen, sunt absolut insane. Nici ei nu știu ce fac în momentul de față. Ăla Serafin. Ce se întâmplă?
Probabil avem Serafin mid.
Serafin Brand bot, zic.
Nu, pe Alistar ce faci că?
A, da.
Nu, ceva probabil avem și Corki la unde e, mă? Avem Corki Alistar bot, Serafin mid și Brand jungle și acum probabil o să vină topul. Deci clar e confirmat Brand jungle.
Mamă, ce echipă.
Sante. Și
acum văd că au schimbat băieții, adică au luat rel.
nu știu dacă ți-amintiți băiatul recentul de echipă, exact cum am jucat la competițiile noastre, la cea mai mare competiție de la aniversară.
Bine, mă, dar nu era nici pe aproape cu coach cu de-alea. N-are nicio treabă. Bă, când am fost eu în Starpers, tu n-ai idee cum se făceau team compurile. Tu n-ai idee cu toate posibilități. Nu, dar team compurile erau insane, gen cum vorbea coach-ul. Mamă, ce-au făcut ăștia, mă?
Deci așa, avem Vei în top versus Xante, avem Brand versus Talia pe jungle, cum am zis. Corki mid, iată că avem Corki mid și nu Serafin, nu știu de ce am zis Serafin. Avem Corki mid versus Tristana, iar Zeri, asta, Rel versus Corki și versus Serafin și Alistar bot. Bă, din nou un comp foarte ciudat de la Vitality. Cred că au fost plătiți să piardă, adică nu știu, gen, pare că...
Nu mai zic de-astea.
Dar ce, presupunerea mea? Pare că nu vor să câștige. Pare că nu vor să câștige, ce?
Nu știu ce e timp comparat.
Ok, tot complul ăsta se bazeze pe Alistar, atât?
Da.
Adică uite, dacă ne uităm la BDS, ai un Kingston care intră în față, când deja e aproape low o să-și dea ultimata să ia decât pe unul, continuă Alistarul, gen, sau nu, Relu, pardon, continuă Relu cu tankiness-ul. La ei ce-a făcut? Că dacă n-a ajuns Alistarul sau e mai în spate sau gata.
Asta e reckless.
is it going to be enough? And that can be a
Well,
generic
full
statement,
of
but
things.
here it means a lot after what we saw in game 1 with BDSA wiping the floors in multiple lanes.
And I
Frumos
think the
trofeu.
big thing is
Chiar tare, chiar
the
tare.
laners
Nu
simply
le-a
had to
nimeni
play
acasă,
better.
dar e
They were
numai
getting
de formă,
completely
dar e ok,
outclassed
frumos.
in the early game. And
Mai
I
rău,
think just
privește
stepping
echipa,
up in terms of
câteodată
micro and laning
Suntem
phase
bine.
is going to
Bro,
be
primesc copiii dacă
massive.
nu trofeu.
Nu, trebuie să plătești.
Fighting for their first championship.
Nu unde știi.
I mean, again,
Fiecare
there are so many
player pare să
firsts coming
plătească și
through.
e scump.
Vitality B
Foarte
as
mult.
the
Ca să
underdogs.
iasă.
And after
Mult.
game 1, it is so obvious
La World să
that
merge.
BDSA have come in
E
primed
mult.
already. The first
Foarte.
seed of the LFL versus the third. There was a lot of fighting in game 1, and here in
Era un
Munich,
fiecare player,
let's
dar
hope
echipa îl
it
primește.
pops off again.
Alright, is it going to be a
Bătam
late
ca
swap?
echipă, ca
Seraphine already
organizație
heading up
primește.
top side.
Nu știu, mă rog, da,
Yopa
poate, nu știu.
might just be to contest
Probabil să
vision
facă
and
copii
place a
ca
ward up top
jucători.
side, but
Da,
I
da.
do think there is real
Știi tu
potential.
ceva.
Știu eu ceva.
Probabil gen ca jucători să facă și ei copii după trofeu.
If
Foarte.
it is a standard lane. Because bushes are so incredibly
Așa
valuable in these
organizația
melee versus
primește.
range matchups. You want to
Sigur.
auto-attack them, dip into
Avem,
vision.
hai să vedem runele
G2
puțin.
când avea un vitrină de trofeele.
Hai să vedem runele
In
puțin.
trouble. BDSA are here waiting for him
Nu
as
l-am
well.
văzut.
This is the trap. He's caught. They haven't even
Hey,
ordered
unde ești? Că după aia o să zică lumea că vor
66
să
yet. As Stan flashes away.
Is Rika going to swap with Genax so that they don't have the melee versus
Bun,
range?
aparent
Like a
să începeau și cu un invade. Foarte, băi, au prins
Thinking
foarte
about it,
mult
Rico was
băieții de
sitting
la
there the entire time, but they're
BDS
gonna swap back.
după
And it's
meciul
not gonna go
trecut.
through. Wow, that would've been a
Probabil
really
au
good rotation.
confidența ăla că e deja 1-0. Dacă se întâmplă ceva rău,
Two walls placed here from both sides,
pardon,
ensuring that
dacă se întâmplă ceva rău, meciul ăsta e ok, că au de unde să întoarcă, nu e sfârșitul lumii. Și plus de asta, după părerea mea, pare că au și compul puțin superior. Ok, Tristan începe cu bombul, foarte mult damage, da, i-a dat destul de mult damage acolo la Forti. Foarte agresivă de altfel Tristana pe mid. Să vedem dacă se dă din nou top div pentru că de data asta băiatul nostru Genix are Crisante, nu mai are Naco. Deci chiar sunt curios cum o să funcționeze top acolo, mai ales cu Vayne pe top, da, melee versus range. Chiar sunt curios cum o să funcționeze. Și Zeri asta, Zeri e cam nașpa că are nevoie de scaling. Oh, s-a teleportat Zeri, ce s-a întâmplat? S-a teleportat puțin, cred că a volat.
Ce să fie?
S-a teleportat un pic
I
Zeri.
want to talk a little bit about help Aragon. Oh dear lord. It
Ce
feels
s-a
like that's what the
întâmplat?
top
Ce arată,
matchup will
mă,
be, but
Fix?
also we need to quickly acknowledge Bob because again, Kadui, Yopa coming into this finals. It's a big moment for them, and I know you personally, Aragon.
2 secundele chat.
Ce cauți?
He's a very good
Așa,
player,
nu contează.
surprisingly enough. He played with him
Bun.
about 3 years ago.
9.2
Back
KDA
then, even then, he was like
la
17, and he was so good in
7.1
lane
se
phase.
referă la
I don't
mid
remember
laner
a
sau la
single
cine?
game
Ce
where he
idei?
lost
la-
the game.
la
If
băieții
we
ăia.
ever
Nu,
lost
pe
top
event.
Da,
match,
era
it was
echipă.
when I was inting or someone else on
Bun,
the team
aparent
was inting.
OME a
They would
câștigat
win every
LCU,
single
Divizia
time,
2,
very often.
pe locul 1. După aia la fel Divizia 2 în Summer și Spring-ul tot locul 1, locul 1. În 2023 Blue, Spring-ul, da, adică așa, de prima oară. Tot locul 1. Are niște realizări. Tare. Chiar tare. Bun, vrem să chine acolo la grompul ăla. A încercat rău să intre acolo puțin peste el. Nu cred că o să mai continue. Bă, slow meciul.
Vezi că... Stai, că se vede mai bine meciul acum.
Chiar slow meciul momentan, dar chiar e ok. Deci să puneți și voi întrebări pe chat, că avem chat-ul pe ecran și eu pot să răspund la întrebări, dar nu, mă rog, noi putem să răspund la întrebări. Că e mai tare să avem o conversație și cu voi, știi?
Bă, dacă are Casante cu Aftershock în loc de Grasp.
Probabil că a gândit că nu o să provocească niciodată.
Păi da, nu o să-l poată
Pe
provoca.
Indian. Chiar este bun care să mai câștige puțin tankiness în fight-uri cu chestia aia. Bun, hai să vedem Tristana foarte low acolo. Bună reacție din partea lui Corky cu flash-ul. Și aparent scapă ambii jucători și în dezavantaj culmea Corky, pentru că Tristana nu și-a folosit niciun summon. Probabil o să-și folosească de teleport, nu știu cum e, nu prea văd de pe... Da, folosesc de teleport. Nu înțelege ce cască în continuu, măcar nu este om, nu înțelege ce
E camera asta, zic eu.
Nu, taci, nu știu, gen taci tu și îmi faci și așa de la de somn, așa, pare totul foarte încet.
Ioi, da, mai
Exact,
stai.
Exact, nu vreau. Incredibil că Xade tot rezistă, asta mi se pare insane pe topul ăsta. Pentru că dacă mă auziți bine sau în chat, bine, pare aici de un volum că mă aud ok.
Da, mă, te auzi.
Chiar mă aud ok, că stau mai pe spate, de-aia nu stau în microfon. Bun, Alistar aparent gata, a venit momentul suporților să miște de pe lane, să vedem Rel, vine cu tot cu, nu, e Talia, Zeri deja vine pe top în momentul de față. Da, probabil vor să prioritizeze foarte mult voi grebji care apar în 55 de secunde și de asta și-au mutat cei de la BDS botul pe top lane ca să aibă cât mai aproape acolo. Se dă teleport din partea lui Căsante direct pe bot lane. Atenție, Căsante nu o să poată să urmărească în fight dacă cumva ceva se întâmplă să-și dea teleport acolo în fight, dar nici Vayne nu are teleport, așa că dacă o ține pe bot lane liniștită, nu cred că are de ce să-ți facă griji Căsante acolo. Și o să fie maxim un 4 vs 4, o vedem și pe Serafin că este deja în poziție de plecare. Brand încă este pe bot lane, abia acum își face rută spre top, mai avem 18 secunde până spawnează voi Gargi și sunt curios dacă o să reușească aici Zeri să mai ia un play sau nu. Vine Alistar periculos de aproape, atenție, Alistar chiar dacă își folosește Zeri E-ul poate să o oprească până să sară tot peretele și e destul de periculos pentru el. Brand se apucă de acest dragon cu tupeu. Cu tupeu, să apucă de acest dragon, nu are ce să facă acolo pe Xana. Pe bot de Căsante n-are nicio șansă să miște, așa că o să dea trade de dragon pentru Void Grabs, care îi face surprinzător de repede Talia. Wow! Gen, chiar îi face surprinzător de repede. Brand aparent face 3 camp în același timp, dar chiar s-a jucat mai slow meciul, s-a jucat mai slow și îmi place genul ăsta de meci. În sfârșit nu mai e haos și măcar vezi tu ceva calitativ. Se face cu creier bun, aparent Brand, aici că face și un invade aici. Talia își dă ultimat acolo să-l oprească pe Brand, foarte frumos flash-ul din partea lui Brand și, atenție, un flash, o ultimată, date pentru niște tucani. Incredibil.
Și Talia care și-a dat ultimata, adică nu e...
Pe nu, Brand nu și-a dat, nu? Deci a dat Talia că și-a dat ultimata, Brand nu și-a dat.
Se vede. Ba, da. Se vede un colț.
Da, bă, și-a dat și el ultimata, wow. Ok. Asta e interesant. Bun, să vedem, are dive-ul lui Corky. Foarte aproape acolo de Tisana, dacă are The Big One, poate să facă ceva, dar dacă are ultimată nu cam puțin damage, Încearcă acolo un Q, încearcă un R. Să vedem pe Căsante în sfârșit a trecut la ofensivă. Bună ultimată dată acolo pe Vayne, foarte low. Frumos flash-ul din partea lui Vayne. Încă are ultimata și probabil o să facă puțin caiebec acolo Căsante, pentru că nu mai are ce face, dar frumos acolo engage-ul. I-a arătat că până la urmă, bă, chiar dacă tu nu vei top, vezi că încă poți să te prind oarecum. Mamă, ce se întâmplă aici pe mis, a făcut niște aram pe partea de mijloc a meciului. Este foarte aproape Brand, doamne, ce face, relintează în momentul de față, își dă W acolo în mijlocul lor și first blood luat de Nautilus. S-a trolat în partea ambelor echipe.
Mamă, Nautilus cu first blood-ul.
Oboseală și mai pară. Ideea e că Alistar nu știu cum a reușit să ia first blood-ul, că nu a dat nici măcar ignite-ul, efectiv a dat hit-ul. A dat cu hit-ul. Aia e insane.
Păi da.
2 minute până la voi Grabs, o să mai dureze puțin. Probabil cred că se va da un full reset în partea ambelor echipe și probabil o să vedem un următor fight tot acolo, deoarece este până la urmă 0-1. Singurul kill l-are Alistar, deci nu e așa mare diferențe. Sunt 13.200 la 13.900 în momentul ăsta. Mă rog, 14.000 gold. Un mic avantaj, nu considerabil. Probabil de jumătate de item, nu, de jumătate de sferă de item, oarecum, cam pe fiecare campion. dar este ok. E foarte bun trade dat acolo de Zeri. Au nevoie de trade-uri, mai ales până se spawnează voi. Grabs într-un minut 24, trebuie să aibă grijă aici. Rel ce face a doua oară când e prins în felul ăsta. Reușește, nu reușește să scape. Foarte low acolo Alistar. Nu reușește Zeri să facă până la urmă kill-ul, să vedem în continuare atac, foarte low. Vine și Brand, doamne cât damage poate să scoată Talia. Dă abilitățile foarte bine, dar un dodge insane de bun de făcut acolo de Brand, să vedem Zeri, își dă Kingston, dar din păcate foarte slab. Double kill pentru Red Team și pune în sfârșit pe Vitality în față. Cu peste 1000 gold în momentul ăsta, sub minutul 10 al meciului. Da, am crezut că e 15 da. 2000 gold în momentul ăsta.
Dar de ce s-au aruncat Zeri în turretă?
A încercat acolo probabil să facă 3 de 1 pentru 2. Gen, hai să vedem încă o dată fight. Vine din nou a pornit de la Rel. Din nou a pornit de la Rel. Sare Rel, din păcate este acolo omorâtă. Zeri foarte bine a făcut acolo Kai. L-a lăsat foarte low și pe Alistar. Un hit cute mai trebuia acolo, mă, dar n-a reușit. Talia foarte bine, însă Brand bă, trebuie lăudat pentru acel dodge. A încercat acolo Zeri și a dat că este foarte greu. Da, chiar a fost tragic. Un throw insane de mare din nou. Atenție să vedem Rel dacă îi spolosește pedeapsa sau nu. Foarte bine îi prinde acolo, vine ultimată de Serafin, moare până la urmă Rel. Moare și când salte, să vedem Tristana. Vin hiturile, nu moare până la urmă și 6-0. E, uite că acum e match one side de partea cealaltă. Uite că cumva Vitality au reușit
Cu echipa aia.
da, să întoarcă un meci, să întoarcă un meci în care dacă meciul trecut te uitai la ei și spuneai că n-au nicio șansă, e bine, uite acum. Asta m-am explicat că de fiecare dată, băi, vedeți că un nou meci, 0-0, se pot întâmpla multe. Bun. Brand Jungle în continuare super strong și a meritat nerful, pentru că este unul dintre cei mai buni campioni de jungle. Într-adevăr, fără escape, dar el în sine ca și campion este insane. Orice campion care este viabil de jucat pe boardlane ca suport AP și dă și o grămadă de damage, da? Având în vedere că nu are resursele necesare pentru un carry, că până la urmă ca suport mereu ai cam jumătate din gol de echipă, nu? Ceva genul ăsta, cam jumătate din cât are una de carry. Îți dai seama dacă îl pui pe un rol, exact cum s-a întâmplat în cazul ăsta pe jungle, să poată să aibă și resurse ca lumea, poate să câștige un match lejer de unul singur dacă se poziționează sau este apărat când trebuie, să-i faci solo Dragon al 2-0 la Dragon până acum. Și pare că este un meci aproape imposibil de întors pentru BDS. Mă rog, aproape zic imposibil, pentru că orice se poate întâmpla la un fight, la un Baron, de exemplu, sau următorul Drake, cine știe. Sau să vedem următorul Herald, pentru că în mai puțin de 2 minute se spawnează următorul Herald. Vă vedeți să vă continui să... că gen, văd că majoritatea tăceți, efectiv. Dar mie îmi place mult să comentez. Ca să înțelegeți, nu mă plătește nimeni. Dar...
I like the fact that Douglas has agency. I like the fact that they're finding
Nu-mi
skills
place.
and how well he's playing.
And now, 1 minute and 30 seconds for the Rift Herald. Second Drake, of course, just taken away.
Că știu că ți-ai închis toți, dar...
We're seeing BDSA.
Adică, am o să deschis.
Mistake uncharacteristic of the best support I said in EMEA Masters. Chayek with a good dodge away from the sides of shove, but Paris has a couple of wins now, a couple of overstays.
Nu știu, comentez chestii, pe unde o să mai chemați?
Păi da.
Maybe he thinks he's safe there.
Mai chema să vorbesc eu?
Nu. With that aftershock, he is quite tanky.
O să nu vorbesc.
Nu am problemă, dar...
Maybe intentional there, but it did look like a bit of a slip up to me.
Bun, hai să vedem dacă se face până la urmă dive sau aici. Da, se spawnează Herald în 50 de secunde. Ideea e că oricum Vitality, mai ales că sunt atât de în față în momentul ăsta, vor neapărat absolut orice obiectiv. Probabil o să ia aici un tower. Nu cred că au timp să ia full plate-uri. Mai au undeva la 40 de secunde, mai puțin de 40 de secunde să ia full plate-uri. Dar tot ce e posibil, să dă teleport, atenție, din partea lui Căsate ajunge foarte bună ultimata acolo de talie, izolează foarte bine pe Brand. Shutdown până la urmă pe Brand. double kill din partea lui Zeri, pus acolo și pe Vayne, iar cumva BDS reușește să găsească trăul făcut de cei de la Vitality. Nu știu dacă a fost greedy sau nu știu la cine să dau credite sau pe cine să dau vina la fight-ul ăsta, dar pare că a venit un fight de nicăieri. Probabil o să avem un replay și să vedem exact cum s-au aliniat cu sorțile să-i bată băieții în halul ăsta la 6-0, dar mi se pare incredibil. Ok, aici că, uite, avem până la urmă. Bun, deci au venit toți, au stat foarte mult, n-au făcut dive-ul, l-au lăsat efectiv pe Brand Amanet. După, nu știu ce a vrut să facă Vayne, chiar nu înțeleg ce a vrut să facă Vayne. Ok,
poți să dai live în română, te rog?
Ok, apare Talia, este o mărută bună, apare. Cred că au venit cu forțe proaspete din bază băieții mei, chiar au chef de bătaie, Corki dă enorm de mult de mici, dacă și-ar nimeri abilitățile mai lăsați puțin. Da, am văzut că a fost la de Xante, dar așa a ajuns acolo, asta știu, dar nu înțeleg ce căuta acolo, perete, mă rog. Trebuia să plece, dacă tot l-au lăsat Amanet acolo pe Brent, trebuia să plece de tot. De ce așa de mor chat-ul tău? De ce nu comunică cu lumea?
Ei.
Băi, ce nu vreți mă să comunicați? Chat! Păi nu știu, stai bă și ei părere, să dea astea. Aici că poate... Aici că poate, nu știu, ai chat live, da. Nu, pe telefon, I guess. Nu, pe urmesc. Hai că mă uit pe telefon la mesaje.
Wow, Vayne acolo cu un dodge super uimitor. Mă, ce scheme are pe el, e ciulo. A dat în fiecare câte un hit. Nu știu ce face. Nu înțeleg. Ah, ok. L-a ajutat pe Brand. Wow.
Da, ce gata cu s-a întâmplat pe Brand.
Wow.
Foarte frumoasă execuția de la cei de la Vitality până acum, să vedem Vayne, să nu fie foarte greedy, deși foarte mult damage acolo Brandul, ajunge până la urmă Vayne și reușește până la urmă să ia kill-ul, nice.
Wow. În ce fel s-au jucat băieții de la Vitality B, nu vine să crezi, vor lua și turnul aici și vor securiza încă puțin gold. Wow! Văd că și Zeri a ajuns să aibă avantaj de gold față de Serafin. Dar Vitality este în față cu 3 gold momentan. Avem un comentariu care spune că e imensă diferența de skill dintre ăștia. Nu știu exact la ce se referă acest comentariu, pentru că meciul trecut a fost omul din partea celelalte echipe, acum e din partea cealaltă echipă. Nu știu care este exact diferența de skill.
Da, nu, e exact ce am zis la început. În meciurile pro, primele greșeli sunt cele mai importante, pentru că tu de obicei în solo queue, da? Gândește-te că tu mereu de fiecare dată când ești în spate profiți de greșelile adversarului. Da, mereu aruncă el meci, îți dă un bounty, îți dă o chestie de genul ăsta. Îți dai seama că în meciurile astea pro nu prea se mai întâmplă așa ceva. Adică de obicei dacă iau un avantaj, cam se discută, cam se trage de ureche, nu prea mai aruncă lumea meci așa aiurea. Mă rog, decât cum a făcut Rel acolo la prima fază, da, se întâmplă. Jucătorul de Rel slab, a făcut o fază, a agafat la o fază, dar cam atât momentan. Nu, la două faze, Bun, hai să vedem încă un fight aici, se face engage-ul din partea celor de la Blue Team, atenție să dă teleport acolo de la Corki în fight foarte low, acolo Vayne pusă jos de Zeri până la urmă, să vedem dacă vine Zeri cu double kill-ul, vine Zeri cu double kill-ul în timp, în spate acolo. Rel cu Xante îl țin foarte bine pe Alistar, sunt aruncați înapoi Brandon, dar reușește oarecum să arunce ultimata, dar nu reușește să facă niciun kill, foarte low, Xante moare până la urmă, double kill pentru Corki, iar overall cei de la Vitality au ieșit mult mai bine, având 4-0-5 în momentul de față pe acel Corki. E insane. E insane ce se întâmplă în momentul ăsta. Corki poate să care meciul de unul singur. Corki cu Brand.
Păi și de Zeri aia ce zici?
Bă, Zeri nu știu exact ce poate să facă în meciul ăsta, având în vedere că are câte un Corki care îi dă one shot de fiecare dată. S-a băgat, uite, aici s-a băgat foarte bine Zeri și a adus prima dată pe 3 persoane. Nu știu exact cât ajută, că nu știu să joc Zeri. N-am ce să vă mint, nu știu exact cât ajută dacă îți dai ultima dată pe mai multe persoane sau nu. Dar chiar a încercat să dea cât de mult posibil. Aici cred că putea să dea un pic mai mult, dar probabil n-a vrut să riște bounty-ul ăla de pe ea, că văd că a atins-o un pic ultimata lui Brand și deja a rămas 0 HP. Chiar e un game changer ultimata aia de Brand și nu ține Brand-ul ca și campion. De-aia mă bucur că în sfârșit și-a luat noroc. Real. Hai bă chat, comunicați cu mine! Băi! Vreți să vorbesc vulgar cu voi?
Băi!
Nu putem! Vă rog eu în macro ăsta l-a cumpărat Mădălina.
Ce?
A cumpărat Mădălina, un macro.
Ce?
Macro, pește. Hai, după ce pește l-a cumpărat.
Wow!
Bagă la cred. Acum am face niște meci și acolo.
Bane, ai mâine job.
On that Zeri, 101 EMEA Masters games, EMEA Masters appearance.
Când vă văd și vă voi acolo, probabil eu, în cazul meu vorbesc, probabil când va merge foarte rău să spălăm pe jos sau o chestie de genul ăsta. N-avem noi, mă. Se joacă la nivel mare, bro, și la bani mulți. Nu, vezi cum ăștia sunt 5-6 mii până la...
Sunt buni mă ăștia.
Care aparent se spawnează baronul. Sunt curios dacă va fi un oraș la baron sau nu. Nu, cred că e atât de proste să arunce meciul chiar așa. E primul meci în care au și Vitality puțin avantaj. Nu cred că l-aruncă așa aiurea. Deși cu Brand ar putea să-l facă foarte repede.
Accent pe puțin.
Brand Corki chiar ar putea, da, uite, gen, chiar nu e atât de mare diferența de gold, având în vedere că au
Ce Corki, mă?
Ce
baron face, mă, Corki?
Corki cu Brand. Hai să mă refer că au suficient de mult de mici împreună. Da, că pleacă vei vine și că s-a întâmplat, nu prea poate să pleacă. Aia e problema. De asta n-am zis neapărat că campion. Ok, aparent se bagă Alistarul, e forțat să-ți dea acolo ultimata.
Cine donează 100 de euro, îi dau video când îi scriu numele cu cheia pe mașina lui Ololosh. Bun. Mulțumim, Wiz.
Cum să-i dau eu? Că nu mi-ai dat moderatorul la avansat.
Mouse-ul e mai aproape de tine.
Și eu ți-am dat.
Da?
Moderatorul de la...
Ce face moderatorul ăla?
Poți de mult la moderatorul de la... Nu știu cum să
nu, poate să schimbe live-ul, da, alea.
Ok, stai puțin că avem un fight foarte interesant, nici n-am văzut. Nu am văzut exact ce a dat engage, dar foarte bine se bagă acolo Rel cu ultimata, nu are follow-up. Double kill pentru Serafin, n-am înțeles-o pe asta de unde vine. Corki cu Vei sunt plecați la vânătoare. Corki reușește până la urmă să facă un kill, dar Zeri scapă cu acel bounty și aparent se ia baron aici. Da, cred că este un match câștigat de Vitality dacă cumva nu o să întâmple, nu știu, un miracol.
Se zâmbește băiatul ăla cu artificii pe el. E Wiz de la Wiz Garage Chat. Cum sună mașina Wiz? Dang, my coffee, dă, tu de ce nu știi de acolo?
Nu știu, mi se pare că n-a apărut de mesaj de acolo.
Păi apar.
Da. Ce arogant e la cu Vayne. Care la care vă referiți, mă, la care stă pe spate. Omul meu stă sub birou, așa stă, ce vrei. Asta e poziția lui de gameplay, nu? Te câștigă.
Păi da, dar poate e Cristi Fiora și e supărat că nu e superstar.
Da, care e unul doi.
the expectations from the analyst desk, from everyone watching
Ia
this
uite ce a
game is that
zis.
BDSA are
A
going to
căzut de
roll
două
over
ori
the
de pe
series.
elevator și am sudat
Vitality have given us
evacuarea.
so much to think about here with the 6K
Evacuarea oaie în
lead,
portbagaj.
an Ocean
E
Soul now looking for a
Bun.
rescue mon. Cannot sit here, stands
Bun,
so
având în vedere că suntem pe un co-stream. Chat, ce părere? Vreau un rating la comentariul meu, vă rog. Hai. De la 0 la... Nu, de la 1 la 10.
and they are still
10!
Că dacă tot nu vorbește nimeni, măcar să mă laud singur.
10, 10. Yay, chat, toată lumea 10.
Nu vorbesc chiar pe bune. Mamă, iar același spot, nu pot să cred că e exact același spot de fight ca data trecută. Bună ultima dată din partea lui aici, dar double flash s-au jucat super bine.
Wow,
Au jucat foarte bine aici.
wow.
Deci așa au câștigat fight-ul. Da, și după aia cred că vine ultima dată de Serafin. Nu, se dă teleport, îi mai lasă Serafin un pic. Ia să vedem, da, se dă ultima dată de Serafin acolo, a dat doar cu Santi. Kingston a făcut încă ea chestii, dar vine Vayne-ul, ultima dată de Bren, n-ai ce să faci pe el, n-ai ce să faci. Vede cel puțin sau dai-te pe Andrei. 9, 95, decent.
And again, the longer the fight's go now, we talked about the scaling for Yoppa, especially this guy who's now trying to trail through.
Eu chiar mă chinui aici, cea, dar cum vă văd că nu reacționează așa, mă
Ce cu băiatul ăsta, îi pune 5 metri de.
Da. Eu practic, probabil ei vorbesc în momentul de față de parcă gen așa se face de obicei, că îți dai seama că ăsta e, când cine câștigă, te duce în următoarea etapă ar veni din pro play,
În viață.
Da, și probabil vorbesc de tot istoricul lui, știi, exact ca la fotbal, vorbesc că ea, că a jucat la aia, a făcut asta. A câștigat multe competiții de aceea, chiar foarte multe competiții.
Și care e ăla? Care e ăla?
Nu știu, cred că vorbea de Corki.
E ăla cu tatuajele pe față, cred. Ba nu.
Ăsta?
Nu e ăsta. Sau?
Douglas ăsta e jungla.
Sau chat, zic eu prost? Nu zicea nici de ăsta. Deci, cred că ăsta nu era de pe mine.
Catches you off guard and finds a pick, because ultimately they cannot win team fights anymore. They have to surprise
Ăsta era, mă, Iopa, nu?
or this game is over.
Yeah, I think we're going back now to the rel.
Ce vrăjeală pe ăștia, mă!
That combo with Attila and trying for the one shot. The problem is the shield's coming now through for Yoppa. You have 3 items onto Kadui, so
Și ne uităm la meci și suntem fascinați de comentarii. Cine să mai scrie? Da! Asta e vrăjeală de aia ieftină, mă, dă-te ia femeia aia când vine să-ți vândă trandafiri, ești nebun? Asta e vrăjeală de aia ieftină. Hai, băiatul meu, că acum i-am cules din grădină, că astea sunt trandafirii aia de 2 săptămâni acum. Zic eu, apă și ajutor la mine.
So we're out of the cow shed into the paddock, but Vitality B will still heal this up. Yoppa with Ocean Soul, let's not forget this is the dirty combo.
yeah, you can see the execution's calling already picked up to counter that. Look at the poke as well coming in from the Corki. Every single time they try to siege, they just throw out rockets. And so much damage on the other side forcing recalls. Still, not going to be able to break open the tier 3s just yet.
Vegetarians must be so happy. We've got a Warmogs on the cow. He's got Ocean Soul and a Seraphine. We're not eating meat today if we're BDSA. In game 2, it is unkillable. Undeniable.
Te aștept să mă
And
duc
really,
eu să
again, Sten's performance has matched Paris' game 1. It is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's quickly becoming, I feel like, such a series about the support and junglers here. You've completely flipped the performances in terms of jungle, in terms of early micro, scoreline, absolutely everything. And the same for the other way round. It feels like Sten is doing what Paris did last game, shadowing the side.
Deci treaba asta în felul următor, chat. În momentul de față, oricum, deja gata. Meciul e stabilit. O să avem un 1-1 cel mai probabil. Și după aia trecem în meciul 3. Mă duc să-mi iau o notiție puțin la...
Paris and Sten, the two engagers for their team, trying to find an opening here.
Paris is isolated as well, but Douglas going golden in the nick of time, gets Shike some damage on Gen X. He has to flash away, but look at what's happening on the front of the fight. Yoppa about to take Paris down as Douglas gets the remaining kill. Vitality's team fight.
Wow, ce play aici! Vitality distruge BDSM și avem probabil finalul de meci. Revenim!
Douglas with the insane stopwatch and Vitality B with the commanding victory over BDSA. It's a complete mirror matchup.
And funnily enough, BDSA 4 members died with flash available. They were so caught off guard. They got completely steamrolled from VITB's aggression, and they made some fantastic improvements coming into this game.
And underdogs beat down. Vitality stood up on the stage for game 2. Some nice adjustments, but it wasn't just in the draft. It was in the game. We got a series for the EMEA Masters Finals, and Vitality have shown up to play.
And the big thing there, I feel like, was the level of micro and just the insane skirmishing in the early game. They never let up afterwards. Douglas having an insane performance in these fights.
Oh, yeah.
I love the adaptations from them, not only in terms of draft, but in terms of their approach coming into this game. It felt like a fully renewed, entirely different team than what we saw in game 1. And they played so smart. They were able to just, you saw it time and time again, the aggression, the confidence. BDSA weren't ready, and now they're gonna have to find a solution because they had big problems here.
Completely different games with a series on the line. EMEA Masters Finals goes to game 3 right after this break to start getting some real answers.
Hey, Law.
Yeah?
I need a bit of help with styling since I'm new here, and I was wondering if I could show you a couple of outfits.
Yeah, sure.
Amazing, thank you so much. I'll be right back. I'm a porro snack. Get it?
I don't know, man. No, not really.
I don't know, Law. It's hopeless.
No, it's gonna be fine. Here, let's have a break.
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
Yes, that's the one. Perfect.
Yeah? LEC, here we come. Ahoo!
De ce să vedem în bara la ăștia? Vreau să vă zic că se joacă best of 5. Să mă arăt familia mea că fac ăștia 5 meciuri de LOL la talpă. Da, mă, e best of 5. Crazy. Cât este scorul? 1-1. N-am net. Telefonul pe silent. Îmi apare că mi s-a închis live-ul. Vere. Mamă, ce era să zic. Mamă, Diego, dar tu cred că nu... Bă, nu mai scrie pe live-ul ăsta, du-te, lasă-mă, Diego, și scrie altul pe live. Bun, scrie pe alt live, Diego, lasă, stai și tu 3 zile și scrii după aia pe alt live. Da, nu se mai oprește, o. M-a scris, bă, în continuu, bă. Băieți, care țară credeți că câștigă? Câștigă Franța sau cealaltă? Franța. Nu văd, fane, nu văd. Am orbit.
I have flash. No flash Talia. I can't fight. I can't. No flash, look. Nice!
Siping shove is good, but they don't have the damage. The disengage is there, but here comes a singing queen!
Nice!
Oopsie. Look at what's happening. Yoppa about to take Paris down as Douglas gets a remaining kill. Vitality's team fighting has been so redeeming in game 2. They shout, they scream, and the bee gets to fly and spread its wings.
Thank you so much for joining me during this series. Completely different draft from game 1 to game 2. Tell me about the approach and the change here, and why did you think it was what was going to bring you the victory here?
Yeah, I think most importantly for us will be top lane, and we changed picks from Zyra to Rumble. We knew that Zyra should be something they are quite comfortable on, so we wanted to ban it. But this Rumble has proven pretty difficult, honestly, to manage. And we know that as soon as Nak is in a comfortable position, then honestly we are probably just having a bit of
And looking at the state of the game right now, we are in game 2, around 10 minutes into the game. What should the state of the game be after the early game for you guys to grab the victory? What is the expectation?
Expectation is that we would like to have a lead. I don't feel like we need it necessarily with our comp. Seraphine has really good scaling, and this allows team fights later on to be pretty comfortable, to be honest. We know that BDSA doesn't necessarily handle being behind too well, and most importantly, like throughout the splits, they have been ahead in pretty much every single game. So we know that when they're behind, they play a very different playstyle from the do when they are ahead. This is something we want to see if we can take advantage of throughout the early game.
And I saw that you're also sitting down with the coaching staff from the LEC team as well. Have you guys been working together? Any words of wisdom and guidance that they've been able to share to you?
Yeah, we have been working together. They are a great addition to the team, and honestly, we knew, and talking with them is like super helpful for anything game related as well. They are really respectful in the sense that, well, it's me and Nahu's team and more staff as well. So they're very respectful in the sense that we're still going to be playing our game, but then finding every opportunity they can to basically help us perfect the game that we are already playing.
All right. Well, fingers crossed. Wishing you the best of luck in the rest of the series. Thank you so much. Jeannie, over to you.
Thank you so much, Laure. A lot of insights here from an interview when we're looking at Vitality particularly and how they were approaching this game, the changes in draft, but welcome back to EMEA Masters. And we have a little game called Bingo that we're going to be taking part of. Particularly, we're going to be looking at the Vitality Bingo card because we just had a Vayne top lane. I'm not complaining.
That's definitely a range top as well over here for Nako. I need someone to cross that out.
Yeah, well, Ginny has fingernails, so she can peel off the stickers pretty well.
Ginny,
I do not have
if you would
fingernails.
please do us the honor.
Nice. What else do we get?
Nice.
We got Yoppa and
Seraphine over here.
Okay,
there we go.
Yep.
That's
a weird noise.
Nako leans back. He's off camera. Was he off camera? I'm not sure.
I don't think he was off camera.
No, he was
Jarek
not.
did play an AD mid though in the Corki.
Oh, that's very nice.
So
That's
almost a
very,
bingo
very
there.
nice. Yeah,
I feel like we might spend a lot of time doing this if we're going to go through all of
How much
this.
do you want to spend on this?
Let's do one more. I mean, we can go for... does Douglas gank top lane? Yes, he did.
He did gank top lane.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a very easy bingo.
Yeah,
Are you gonna put it in?
I got
the sticker.
Whoa. I mean,
And I have the last one here for you, Mikkel.
Thank you. And one addition to my sticker collection. Yeah, I met Mac as well. He made sure to remind me that I dropped the Vitality sticker earlier. So
accident,
I got
of
it
course,
back on.
right?
Yeah, of course. I didn't pull that off.
Amazing.
Totally didn't put it back on just because Vitality was back on track after a very interesting draft that we've seen from them considering how game 1 went.
No, absolutely, but I also just think it's straight back to comfort. Like, we expected wackiness coming out of the draft. We didn't really see that in game 1, and Vitality B made this control chaos that they've been thriving in, and I think seeing Yoppa back on a champion like Seraphine as well, having Douglas on the brand that created these well-winning skirmishes, which was what Dagda wanted in his win conditions for Vitality B earlier today, is exactly what you wanted to see from them.
Yeah, I think we heard a lot about it in the interview as well, where BDS struggled to play from behind. We really saw that in this game. The amount of times they were just chucking their bodies into the wall, trying to find picks. Even the Kedwee's flash under the mid lane tower when Alistair is obviously there. It really feels like Vitality B read their opponents for this game rather than just trying to do what they do best.
Yeah, I think we could go straight into the first fight as well. A little bit of an overextension from Paris, and he had quite a few here. But I completely agree with you, Medic, because it's the fact that Vitality got ahead in this fight where they overextend. Then or BDS rather, sorry. But then their way of getting back into the game was saying, how do we do it again? Well, we take another mid fight and then they lose the other one. So it felt like BDS, they just fell too far behind in the early game. They were too overzealous with some of the movement in this mid lane, and they just got punished for it, quite frankly.
And it's really interesting because BDS kept finding these fights or looking for these fights. I'm not sure they'll be very happy that they found them. But then they actually had some really good macro moves in the mid game where they managed to get Rika back in the game. Like Rika was even on items with Chayak, even though he was 4 kills down. And then they just threw their bodies into the wall again.
It's what they do best, Medic, but even then, right, I think the fact that Chayak got so accelerated in the early game made it so easier for him because he had a Triforce before Rika finished his first item. He also had plated steel caps, which means in the AD carry versus AD carry matchup, you're just not in a position where you can actually trade even. So despite having a Tristana that's well known for the burst damage on the E, Rika was never in a position where he could actually win on the side lane. And you can see on Chayak's stats here, he was a Superman in the mid lane.
Yeah, he really was. And then alongside him, we had the powerhouse in the bot lane. Stand on there. Alistair had such a strong performance. We saw in the final fight, actually, how he was able to distract basically all of BDS Academy just by standing in their faces. Like, everyone else is dying around them, and the Alistair's just there like, okay, I have Unbreakable Will, I have a Warmogs, good luck trying to kill me.
I really wonder how long he's actually tanking it, because I swear, it's Ocean Soul as well, right? So it's just never happening. 23-minute Ocean Soul as well. Great Dragon priority from Vitality. We talked about the objective fighting. Honestly, this is not even one of the ones we find amazing. It's just the one where they're so far ahead, nothing BDS can do about it.
I think what really stood out to me here from the side of Vitality is that we've seen one way of them approaching draft and the game, particularly in that first one. We're now into the second game. It felt like a completely different approach, a completely different team, and if anything, it felt like BDS Academy was not necessarily ready for it. It wasn't something that they expected, even though earlier today they mentioned we've had a lot of time, there's been prep, we've done something cooking up back behind the scenes, but that wasn't necessarily the case.
I mean, it's not unheard of for BDS. Yeah, they threw out Heretics, but even back when these two teams played in the lower bracket of LFL, it was kind of the same story too, where they did drop a game against Vitality. So I guess you can use previous games to predict this one, Medic. But it's still one of those games where I think that they are now choosing red side on BDSA. They're going to have a much more comfortable time on this side, because as much as Vitality B love getting these counter pick for their solo laners or priority picks for the jungle, it's the same story for BDS.
Oh, 100%. Like, you can get Genax a more favorable matchup in the top lane. I don't think Naka was the deciding factor on the Vayne in this game, but it also gives you another outlet for Vitality, right? If Chayak doesn't get far enough ahead, well, then Yoppa can just buff up Naka as the fight goes on. You have all of these different tools in your toolkit, but when you lose R5, when you lose that final pick, that counter pick, it becomes a lot more tricky for Vitality B to actually find that flexibility in the draft.
But that's also something that, of course, when you're looking at Vitality B, they would have expected at some point to come out for them to be going onto that blue side. So I'm looking forward towards what they're going to be changing in their draft. Coming into the second game, we were on the dance floor saying, actually, you know what? You can stick with that game one draft. You can go do it for a second game. You can see what went wrong. You don't need to make adaptations, but they've done it. So they can just flip it back around again, and we can see game one.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to see Douglas still on some of these AP junglers. As good as he has been on some of the Maokais and Sejuanis, I want to see him in a position where they win skirmish through some of the burst damage that come through from this pick. You're also just opening up the mid lane with these ADs for Chayak, who he's clearly been quite comfortable on.
Yeah, very much agree.
I'm looking forward to game 3 as well, because this is only getting bloodier and bloodier. So we're ready to head over to our casters. We have Broxa, Aragon, and Hysterics.
Woo! Whoa! Much better. Okay, now we're talking, and that should be the environment, the feel coming into a third game where Vitality switched on, recovered from the first game. They talked a lot about draft. Again, we said coming into today, it would be a massive draft discussion because it inherits a merit that Vitality B is all about.
Now, red side for BDSA is going to make blinding.
It is.
Genax a little bit tricky. You know what? I love that they leaned into the quirky 80 carry picks. I hope they just send it. You know what? Pick a Neela. Blind it. Go on Yoppa.
you want to blind Nila?
He did it last time, you know, in semis. I'm completely down with
Yeah, what
it.
does Broxer think about that one?
He's a bit skeptical for now, but again, you know, we saw them bring out some great adaptations in the last draft, so I'm very curious to see what they have in store for us this time around.
Instantly. So the strategy so far for BDSA has been we attack Douglas, we attack the Vi, you know, strategy they leaned on Vi.
Speaking of Nila, by the way.
They knew it was going to happen.
They heard you.
They did hear me. Guys, the commentator, he just said they should blind pick Nila. Let's ban it.
What's next?
Yeah, so I think, you know, the standard picks, I think Rumble's going to be taken away from Vitality B unless they want to pick it, but Nako, he doesn't strike me as a wrong player, although he has picked it before, but there it goes.
Curious to see what BDSA are going to do here. In the previous two drafts, we saw them banning Vi and Varus, two champions that are no longer as scary because they don't have to, you know, be threatened by the counter pick from Vitality.
Yeah, so I do think in series meta sort of develop, and the one that I'm seeing right now is the Rel and Alistar dynamic. I do think, you know, you could in a standard best of one see a Rel B1, right? But it's been not doing so hot into the Alistar recently, so I do think there's potential that we don't see that, and in the end, Paris does get it. But that is my go-to B1 right now.
Rel definitely was a prior pick in the first game. However, second game we saw the Alistar coming in really clutch.
You know another one as well, we've had Vi banned 2 games in a row. Douglas' most played and one of his favorites so far at EMEA Masters has been that. As they ban the Seraphine, that's another option outside of the realm.
So what BDSA were doing is they were targeting all the strategies that Vitality B showed in previous stages in champions like the Vi and Kai'Sa paired together.
Te așteptăm pentru a comenta meciul 3 și picurile. Dar ce, Andrei, eu nu sunt bun? Nu înțeleg.
Now we'll have to see what BDSA are going to do about this Ezreal. Are they going to look for a jungle pick, something like the Brand was blinded here on 1-2 by Vitality B last time around. Syra, I believe, was even banned pretty early in draft, so this could be a great adaptation from them. We saw the power of the AP junglers come in. Of course, Talia didn't live up to expectations, but Skewmont has been a fantastic Syra so far this tournament, so I'm very excited.
Well said.
You can look in Rel if you want to here, great pairing with the Zyra. You can also match AD carry kind of flex with something like a Zeri if you want to, or pick up the Tristana again. I think these are your 2 main go-to options. Skewmont, Nunu hover again.
Yeah, not going to put much into it until we see that same priority on the Yone. Rika's Yone in game 1 was unbearable for Vitality B. So that is, again, another comfort pick here for the mid laner of BDSA.
This is something players like to do, right? They win on something, then they lose on something else, and they go back to what they won on. Can you attest to that?
The question is whether we're going to see the Rel being prioritized once again, because it looked fantastic in game 1, not so great in game 2, and like you said, sometimes
Demonstrează, n-ai zis nimic de vreo câteva minute. Da, mă, nu... Da. Au banat Nila randomly, nu știu de ce, nu înțeleg de unde a venit banul de Nila. Până acum nu a fost banul de Nila și acum s-a gândit, bă, hai să banăm Nila. Gen, ce? Ce? Păreri chat? Ce părere aveți de chestia asta?
Now these 4-5 bans are going to be very telling as to what Vitality B want to blind. What do you ban? Maybe the TF for the K'Sante blind, maybe the Renekton so you can ban K'Sante as well. Pick K'Sante as well, rather. It's really on Gen X. I do wonder. He's got so many quirky picks. Mordekaiser.
Eu nu știu cum s-a spawnat chestia asta de a bana Nila, de exemplu, acolo.
And that's what it's all about, just making sure that Nako doesn't get away with, you know, a stable top lane blind pick.
Ăștia-s EMEA Masters? Păi și EU Masters ce e, de exemplu? Că din EU Masters ajungeai nu știu unde și EMEA Masters e și mai mic decât EU Masters. Ce e EMEA Masters?
Yeah, I will say, just something to call out, they did flex Yone at one point in this tournament. Gen X did play it into a K'Sante, so if we do see a K'Sante blind for Nako, they could put Gen X on this Yone up top side as well.
Sau da, poate joacă ceva teamcom care e countered de Nila. Dar nu prea cred. A, Jhin să fie countered by Nila? Bă, da. Și eu banat Jhin, a da, Jhin Caitlyn, gen de carry care lovesc tare. Care fix ar fi bun în Nila, ok, și eu banat ca să nu ia ăștia pentru că au fost bani de Nila, dar... Nu știu, ciudat. De ce nu i-ar fi banat din Nu știu.
What's it gonna be?
Yeah, usually I was about to say there's a Neela
Că nu l-au Aqirys, nu știu, nu.
So immediately that point is mute. I do think they should blind pick AD carry here probably.
În orice caz, foarte mulți Aqirys banați. Și ce au băieții? Kaisa. BDSA ia niște Kaisa, wow.
Especially since Vitality B have loved this Kaisa flex too. So it is one thing away from Yoppa or Chayek. On the other side, what do we get? Again, we talked about the Cassante as a blind here as an option.
Și nu uitați că mâine o să ne uităm la LEC împreună.
Stuff that really stomps her in lane, right? Kalista, Draven, what have you, anything that can stomp the lane. You could send Ezreal down bot side or flex in mid, but they're not going to do that. It's the Yoppa Ziggs.
Yoppa Ziggs, okay. Back again on something that's just going to try and scale up.
What's the blind pick now for Nagnako? That is the question. What are we going to see? Cassante is still up and available, but you know that the Mordekaiser or something like this is going to come out for Genax if you do pick it. Cannon blind is viable.
Clar ai avea și tu loc acolo ca mid și ai face diferența, real.
Do you think you would blind his Varus here?
Bă, adică ei sunt buni așa, dar nu sunt top of the top. Acum că unde gândesc.
Much like many LPL top laners.
I think it's just so difficult. I think how do you blind versus both of these top laners?
Bine, sunt buni ei așa, adică buni, dar
I do think it's a little bit rough because of double
buni,
AP.
sunt mai buni decât mine. Clar.
A little bit less. It's a rough matchup. It's also in the 1v1, especially you get very outscaled as Cassante.
Okay.
I think ultimately BDSA recognized that the team fights didn't go their way last time around, and now they have a very, very strong comp with great engage, great disengage, and just so many tools to pressure throughout the early game, but especially in team fights. They, however, will still need to get a little creative to reach the likes of Ezreal, Brand, and Six. Yeah. So let's see how well Vitality B can cover them when the time comes.
I gotta say, I like Vitality B draft a lot. I see a lot of dive from BDSA, but then you're diving onto a Brand, you know, and a lot of disengage from the Ezreal, so it's gonna be quite difficult to cover that gap. You do have a bit of range to play with, you have the Zyro poke, you have the potential Kai'Sa W's as well, but overall I think Vitality B's draft, Ziggs is pretty broken right now. I'd take that.
Yeah, he's in a good spot, and you know, when you see Yoppa is this supportive player who's flexible, who can play carries, but also in his last game on the Seraphine, played such a vital role to the success of Vitality, a frustrating role to BDSA. And it's thrown a spanner into the works. And that's what we knew Vitality coming into the finals would do. They would be able to play around their draft flexibility, and they've once again pulled out something different for game number 3. But let's not forget, BDSA were hyped up for a big reason, not just being the LFL first seed, but the way they came through EMEA Masters so far. Their game 1 was smashing. Their game 2, they got smashed. Can they return to the quality performance? Can they get through this early game and set themselves up for some of these skirmishes? I think Dagda was talking about Vitality B. They need to elongate and maybe back away from. There's been so many words thrown around, but into a game 3 where the standings are equal, we have to see who wants it more, who can get closer to that trophy.
And
let's begin.
And I do think, with the way this series is going, it's going to be a fast 5 games if it goes to 5 games, because every game is just so bloody. I think it was a 22-minute Soul last game. It feels like it's permanent fighting, and because the other games are just ending, so see how this one goes. In terms of the early game, who do you prefer, Broxer?
Ezreal mid.
Well, I think both teams have a lot of tools, a lot of ways to pressure the opposition here. We're going to have push and top from the Na on BDSA side. Jungle matchup is pretty even. Syra does have a slightly faster early jungle player, something she could take advantage of. Ezreal pushes into Yone. Bot lane, slightly contested, but ultimately, against the Six, you can't really pressure him. He's so good at just sitting there, soaking up the pressure, dealing with whoever comes his way, and just surviving 1v2 if he has to.
So is that a thank you, Mr. Broxer, for Vitality? Liking their options a little bit? You talk about the clear being faster, yes, for BDSA, but on the other side, Vitality B, being able to neutralize and mitigate a lot of the options in the early game from BDSA is my takeaway there.
Well, I think ultimately both teams have a lot of tools, and from a drafting point of view, really, this series has been fairly close. It's all come down to the brawling, the fighting, the synergy between everybody and their ability to, you know, just play as a team.
True.
And now, similarly to last game, we're seeing the jungler on Cassandra's side, start bot side, path towards top, ensuring that he's not going to be in danger or potentially get stove.
Yeah, I'm looking at bot side as well. Zyra's quick clear means that she can path down to bot side, and if the trades are good enough for BDSA's bot lane, if they chunk Vitality B enough, there could be potential dives, because you can dive and redive on Zyra that quick at clearing, especially since they don't have barrier. But Vitality B being very respectful, not falling into these trades, not getting too chunked out, and that dive is probably not going to manifest.
I mean, I love that again. They've often played, you know, in these early games where they don't have winning lanes, they don't have winning 2v2s. That's what we talk about with the flexibility. Kadui and Paris got more options as Rika. These trades aren't going as well as you'd think. Mystic shot dodged away from, but Rika getting outranged here in the lane early. But Chayak is in good sorts.
Ezreal passive so strong again, the prio in the mid lane here. Rika feeling the brunt of it.
Yeah.
Nice trades coming back in, using that potion and Orange Shield to sustain back up. Chayak still has a cookie though, so he's going to maintain control for a while. But you see Paris is already moving up.
Already.
And look at this fast jungle clear from Zyra. Douglas hasn't even started his blue buff yet, and we see the Leona, the Zyra group mirror, looking for this play in the mid lane. He had vision on them just briefly.
Yep.
And with that, he's going to be able to play back and survive.
Annoying. Ezreal can do exactly that, right? He doesn't have to worry about getting caught out, has escape tools, but the range is always going to be something we think about.
So much safety in the mid lane for both of these, even though the trades are fairly volatile.
Good dodge.
Loads of sustain for Rika, incredibly slippery as well with the CC buffers as well as the Q3. And then on the other side, you obviously have Ezreal E. So likely ganks are going to be targeted towards mid, but not going to be successful. I think, in general though, my eyes are definitely on Grub Timer. Ooh, but look at this wave bounce back from Yoppa. They've got Vitality B have got to find a way to crash this. They could be facing a potential freeze.
Well, the problem here is Skewmont knows he has to recall now. You don't want to end up in a fight with Douglas coming out of base, already having the faded ashes.
Matches, Zenith Blade catches as well.
Whoa.
Full on engage with a disengage from Sten. Buys time.
Whoa.
Isn't enough though. First blood to Kadui on this Kai'Sa. Just what the doctor ordered.
And this is what I was saying. Yoppa, he was facing a potential freeze with the wave pushing out. He needed to crash the wave, so he needed Douglas. BDSA punish. But there comes the Yoppa's TP, he's respawned again.
Oh, Douglas close to getting the seer, would have stunned Kadui, maybe set up for the passive, but his counter gank ain't there. And even though Yoppa's able to TP in, first blood going to this Kai'Sa means we're going to start talking about this bot lane more and more.
And the sad part for Vitality B is that they generally had the right idea. Douglas base early, sprinted towards the bot lane, but the engage from Paris was so clean, so on point. Skewmont flashing in to follow as well, and there was just no counterplay for Yoppa once he first got caught.
Yeah, and the flash E coming in was pivotal for Paris. Now, no flash for Yoppa, expended there to try and get away unsuccessfully. And I'm a bit concerned because now, once again, the wave is pushing out. This could be a rinse and repeat if Zyra clears down to bot side, or they could pivot and go for these grubs, leaving Ziggs on the weak side, but once again, he is facing that bounce back without a flash.
And while Zyra currently is very far away from the bot lane, we already saw it once, her clear speed is absolutely incredible. And Skewmont presumably going to do his full clear. Douglas, same thing. And once the clear's done, Scuttle going to be available on the bot side. And if you're BDSA, I would be surprised if you're not doing everything in your power to hold that free spot. You already mentioned it there, Ron. It's going to be so scary for Six to push this out. He already died once. No flash available this time around. Jungle on the other side of the map. Massive danger zone bot lane.
You get that bot behind even further. And while you guys talking about the wave state, I mean, no TP, no flash available. And set up for the dive with level 6 from Rika mid as well, if he can move down as he starts pushing out this wave faster and faster. I like the way you think. You're thinking about BDSA's early gamers have already launched into a 700, 800 gold lead here at the 6-minute mark. We now have to see how they transition up to grubs, as Douglas has started it off, but Stend also moving up. Well, I don't even need to talk about it, because Skewmont looks like the Dragon priority is their choice this game.
Yoppa going to be able to catch down from the bot wave, and full bot side control for BDSA means they're going to secure the Dragon. On the other side, though, you do have the grub trade, really standard in today's League of Legends, despite having all that top prio with that Gnar into the Kazante.
I'm still thinking about the freeze. It's living rent-free in my head.
Why
Such
did they
a
let it
missed
break?
opportunity. You could have gotten the trade Drake for grubs while freezing the wave, either forcing Six to stay, or having him lose a full wave. Now, missed opportunity. It is what it is.
Classic,
so we trade
classic jungler.
And now,
Classic boxer.
Zyra is going to be on the other side of the map for a while and might not be able to make a play before Yoppa has his flash up again.
Yeah, you can see Douglas already coming down bot side as well to help with the crash, just in case Skewmont is there. They are going to spawn out pings onto Skewmont, so they are tracking him. Douglas may be fishing for something in the bot side.
Well, he can't stay here for too long. He already has
Charge
Crocs and Red buff up, Raptor spawning in just a moment. Question is, are they willing to dive? Certainly looks like it.
Hang on. Did I have 2 meals? No, I'm going to eat well, though, if we watch Kadui for the dive further. The flash has come out. He's still got barrier. There's good poke under the turret. They're still trying to zone off. I am getting hungry, though, because it looks like for Vitality B, they're trying to bring a bit more pace and neutralize this bottom lane. Did you guys eat?
I didn't eat,
actually. I couldn't eat before this. I was too excited. But smart flash coming in from Kadui. Very scared of the Q flash from Rel because there's no reaction time available. If they fully sent it, he would have had the flash in the first place. Dive averted once again, and it definitely does feel like a game where bot lane wave management is key.
This was a pretty big mistake from the side of Vitality B. Skumond knows that Douglas hasn't been able to clear his bot side yet. He knows he is prior both mid and top lane. So with that knowledge, instantly moves into the enemy top side. Now, it is worth noting, Vitality B are aware of this. Stent recalled immediately, is moving top side out of base. Douglas joining soon. So while Skumond has taken away one camp already, he's in a pretty dangerous area.
Swading damage onto Douglas is good. Baited Ash is going to help out, and he takes a bit of a chunk, but Skumond now moves away. Rika gets the push in towards mid as he looks for his first plate. It's building up, gentlemen. We're just waiting for this little skirmish to kick off because Vitality B look eager to fight with Sten, consistently moving. At least win today. They are affected by some kind of reverse sweep. I'm not sure which one it was, but maybe a bit of PTSD in the audience. At least you can't get reverse swept today. You started with game 1. We've come into a game 3 where things are pretty even. I feel sorry for the fans.
I think Shayak is in a bit of a pickle here. He can't get a reset off because he doesn't have teleport.
Yeah.
So he's having to draw in resources to be able to even lane until he gets that teleport back or he can find a recall. But he's stuck here. And that's going to be a black hole in terms of pressure because he's going to continuously lose priority to Rika. And that can then bleed into side lanes.
Douglas basing, moving out towards the bot side. Skumond finished most of his jungle clear. Grump still available. Question is what the next play is going to be. We see Void Grubs up in 1 minute. I think BDSA are quickly going to realize this is going to be their last opportunity to base, spend their gold if they are to use their pressures to secure those Grubs for themselves.
Yeah. And Ezreal in a bit of power trough right now. A bunch of different stats for the Jack of all trades, Adaptive Force, but he is relatively weak in terms of components.
Yeah.
So this skirmish around Void Grubs might be a little bit challenging. I could see Vitality B trying to opt for a cross map and play for the opposite side.
Root down. Yeah, he gets caught out as well. Rika's fully on in. The Ziggs bomb catches him out, but look, there's not enough damage. Sten gets out on the back end as Shayak fully commits. The shield down as he crashes down, and Sten survives. 23 seconds till those grubs come up, and Skumond has no ulti. Rika has no ulti. How does this affect the setup here as we get towards those purple things?
Shayak is already quite weak, right, because he's so out of mana that the ultimate difference might not matter too much. Rika's TP is off cooldown at a very similar time, so we could just see a recall for a recall, a TP for a TP, but it does look like Skumond, he wants to contest, he's looking for another gank.
Or Shayak low on mana as well. There's a flash available, but Shayak, if he has to burn it away, it gives you more opportunity. Skumond moves into position, holds the line, as that might give things away. Kadui. Voidseeker doesn't get anything. Skumond now moves up and says it's time to equalize these grubs that were pulled out by Vitality B earlier on.
Sajak has been under an incredible amount of pressure this game. The amount of times they've looked for him cannot even be counted on one hand at this point, but he keeps holding his line and is only down a couple of CS despite it all. Great job on the Ezreal. Rika basing. We're going to be seeing the Ezreal base in not too long as well. Actually holding it a little bit longer here. And 30 seconds now on the Drake. Skumond still in the Void Grubs. Is going to have to shift down soon if they are to contest this one as well.
That cancel onto Rika is a little bit annoying. He couldn't recall because then he would have to TP, but his TP was unavailable. So now he's going to have to recall. He might be a little bit late onto any kind of skirmish. Shayak, I imagine, that's going to do the same.
Skumond, though, it's a pincer movement onto Genex. He tries to go, he fakes it back onto Skumond. Blast Cone is there. The smite slows him down, but the all out gets him out of harm's way. But the wild growth is back up and available. And against the wall, Genex says enough is enough and picks up his kill.
Skumond spaced that so well. He stayed permanently just out of range of Cassante ultimate grab, and that forced Genex to, Naknako rather, to flash forward and ult him, but then his all his mobility gone, he just gets run down after that.
Now, the question is how Vitality B are going to punish knowing Syra stayed
wow, nu vine să cred, BDS este în avantaj de 1000 gold.
Keep pushing bot. The tower bot is going to get very low soon, and Six is very close to being able to take this away with his W. Skumond immediately walking bot side out of base, still wanting to see if they can contest this Drake.
He just used W on the minions, by the way, so it's a little bit delayed until now as Yoppa gets first
Wow,
turret
BDS
blood. The
este în
power of
avantaj
Ziggs
doar
shown
de
out as
13
gold
gol
is now
acum.
even because of that trade.
And you can see what BDSA were fishing for. They thought to themselves, maybe we can find an engage here and play with Kai'Sa ultimate to dash forward and die. Paris definitely wanted to look for it. But in terms of the tower trade, 3 grubs to 3 grubs. But on one side you have Ziggs, the tower damage is always going to be greater.
Yeah.
Well, let's see right here. Vitality would really like to base soon. They have a lot of gold in their pockets right now after making that play bot, but they know that if they do recall, BDSA are going to get Drake for free.
Wild growth is not there and available. Skumon has the flash though. This could be an all-in. There's no steal. A Cloud Dragon, Vitality be equalized, and you could see BDSA were trying to engineer the perfect engage.
Yeah, you could see Kadui really trying. He landed the Void Seeker. He wanted to go in.
On a ward.
Shayek, maybe fishing.
They know they're all there on a ward. I mean, BDSA have walked past this, so Vitality B don't need to overcommit. They sacrifice a little bit in terms of their Raptors and let them walk out. As this is also a base on a ward, but Vitality B get that timing we talked about. Broxer, I like that you mentioned they had a lot of gold to spend. Some first items coming out of the hat here with Douglas, Naknako, Yoppa with their first item indeed.
I think Vitality B has already grown massively throughout the series. The performance in Game 2 and Game 3 as well compared to Game 1, it's not even comparable. And they're now playing really cautiously, really smart, making sure they don't give too much over to BDSA and keeping them in this position where they're only 500 gold up. Makes the game very, very close.
Da, mă, se vede bine, dar...
Rift Herald is spawning in 20
mă rog, pot fi
seconds.
direct în chat, că mi-e mai ușor să citesc pe guess.
This is where we see the magic happen around these
Ce este cea de acest gameplay interesant de League of Legends. Mamă, ce ne distrau aici, băieți. Aș spune și noi finala de la leg de mâine, că nu se mai poate.
Yeah, I don't think BDSA can contest this, right? You just had
Da, nici
R
nu
turn
știu ce e
into
mâine,
Minar,
sincer.
so there's no contest there in terms of the
5
combat
plates,
power.
5 plates,
There's
ia uite.
loads of wards down in bot though, right? Down in the enemy jungle, down here.
Nu știu ce a fost aia cu plate-urile. Cred că câte plate-uri au luat până la minutul 14, ok. Interesant.
But walking through that choke is going to be difficult.
And we saw BDSA buying a bit of time for their jungler to make it back here. They don't dare to walk in though. They know that there's a lot of hard engage coming from Vitality B. They have to be super cautious. They need to wait for GenX to use his top prior to shift down, stack up the Magnetar, and then force a fight.
And better smite available as well. Upgraded smite here for Skumon because of that fast clear you talked about in the early game. 4 left for Douglas, so bit of an advantage here if it turns into a smite fight as Vitality B have taken some health bar trades. Naknaka avoiding Genax as he runs out of Magnetar. They turn onto Paris and they think this is the better angle. Mega Inferno Bomb, True Shot Barrage. It flies across the rift as Genax opens up the turret. A smart map move from BDSA while they're waiting for the play.
2 ultimates used now in this contest for the Rift Herald. BDSA and Vitality B, they might like a lot of damage.
Well, right now BDSA are ripping apart Vitality B in the macro game.
plin de viață ești, da,
now Rika is pushing bot with teleport available, getting bot turret in just a moment as well. Herald is being started. We're seeing desperation coming out of Vitality B. And now we're about to have a big fight.
And we're about to go Magnetar as well. Genax on the back end is a steal, but for how long? Genax
Bă, s-a băgat foarte bine Gnar acolo, dar nu avem niciun haz. A câștigat Gnar acolo, s-a băgat direct pe amândoi în spate. N-au mai făcut nimic băieții ăștia. Chiar bine rău. Au făcut avantaj de 3000 gold. Care câștigă chat? BDSA sau Vitality? Eu țin cu ăla gras că... Oh my god. Semined la mine pe canalul de YouTube, nu-mi vine să cred.
I mean, those items are going to start showing advantages. That gold starting to show adversity against Vitality B. As you said, it's now just bloomed.
Stați că nu știu ce-mi face canalul de YouTube.
Let's hit again as Kadui might be caught out. Vitality B not out and about. Instead, in and want to continue as Kadui flashes over the wall. Naknaka teleported in, but...
What? Stai, ce? Nici măcar nu știu cum a prins-o pe Kai'Sa acolo. Asta chiar n-am înțeles. Nu, n-am înțeles deloc cum... Ce scrie mă ăla acolo? Douglas Kakek? Cum e mă? Xejek? Xajek? Mă rog, ați înțeles voi ideea. Bă, nu mai scrieți, bă, căcaturi. Ne dau ăștia afară de la LEC. Al meu joacă pe spate. E stream în 2K ca să înțelegi. Hai că se vede în 2K. Da, bă, Simine, nu știu, vorbim când se poate și facem. Dai și tu o partajare și mă uit. Că n-are ce să fie așa boală.
This guy that people again are saying he shouldn't be here, he should be in the LEC. Holds firm, knows Magnetar's running out, and he knows he's getting ganked here. He's playing so cautiously.
Look at that ward there, potentially spotting out his mini.
All in, tries to outplay it. He is level 13, remember, and he's got 2 items. The damage on the Nako is going to be insane, as we talked about the old advantage. The all-in is...
Ce dive fac ai mei? Mamă, a făcut cel mai nereușit dive din 2024. Mai și trăiește ăsta. Ăla a pus Herald în timp ce se băteau? Mamă, dar a fost un dive, zici că... Bă, ce s-a întâmplat? I s-a pus Herald automat, sper că nu l-a apăsat din greșeală, că râd. Ar fi fost amuzant. Au Zyra jungle? Asta-i. Oh my god, au Zyra jungle, acum am văzut. Nici n-am văzut draftul până acum. Ce-a niște păreri de Zyra jungle. Bă, fane. Dacă îți trimit să vezi ce am făcut ieri. Mamă. Păi poți să-mi trimiți că îmi dau seama după aia.
With even more burning hot glory. Understand, the autos come through. Genax ultis in. It's a free kill. Vitality be getting torn apart, and all of a sudden BDSA feel the momentum again and get a favorable trade. It's a blood.
Să facă ăștia 3-1, vă rog, să se ducă, să se termine odată. Adică nu că n-ar fi interesante meciurile de EU Masters, EMEA Masters, pardon, nici măcar EU Masters, EMEA Masters, dar cred că lumea așteaptă lecul mai mult, nu? Chat, voi ce ziceți? Așteptați lecul de mâine? Sau așteptați pe Fury să vină odată să urle pe aici? Sper că... Bă, fane! Mai ești? Nu mai răspunde nicăieri, fane, e... Fane, e... Mi-a dat... Mi-a dat rău de tot.
And when we think about this series, when we think about these 10 players who are all vying to be seen in the region, seen in EMEA, they are trying to perform out of their right mind on the big stage here in Munich.
And right now we're going to need to see Vitality be setting up good defensive vision and shutting down BDSA's attempts to push the game forward. We see 6 already setting up in the mid lane with this fantastic wave clear. We see them setting up great vision.
Asta e schițunel cu Luci la finale.
Skumon though on the return is hit by Yoppa. A TP to commit from Nako, but it is also a bit of a shutdown here for Yoppa on the Ziggs. Vitality B, when they're this far behind, trading ain't too bad to speak of.
It isn't too bad at all. Douglas desperately wants to farm his topside camps, but Yoppa's there with the counterplay. The pick onto Skumon, 1-for-1 down in the bot side now. Gonna go into a bit of a lull state. Baron not available for either team because of the lack of smites, but there is a lot of Baron damage on that side of the team, on BDSA.
We're seeing it again. You mentioned just before Historics, Vitality are ready to strike, ready to punish the slightest over-aggression, and these are the moments they need to continue looking for. Question is, how does BDSA crack this mid tower? We're going to need to see a lot of practiceness from their side lanes here. Like I said earlier, you have to push inside deep and move towards mid now. With Kisande no longer having TP available, a lot of the pressure is going to come from Genax, who has the TP advantage. BDSA could also look to hit the Baron at some point. We see 2 items with Kaiser, 2 items Syra. You have a lot
Eu personal aștept după Fury, și eu.
Constant side pressure as well for the Gnar here. It might translate into a potential TP flank. I see a red ward which is now being cleared out.
Oh my god. But how annoying is this all in? Meanwhile, Rika tries to find an angle. Vitality B still in the defense, and while we are talking about BDSA using that advantage, the sieging is so annoying against the Ziggs. The wave clear is even more annoying against the 2-item Ziggs, and Yoppa knows his role, all committed, half HP on mid turreters.
Sunt dropuri. Aaaa! Am skin-uri să vă dau, am uitat. Salut, Fury, ce faci? Mai vii? Nu, nu mai vii. Așa. Am înțeles. Stai că aveam ceva coduri de dat, dar nu știu pe ce... Am uitat. Le-am găsit. Nu știu câte am eu. Câte am? 30. Oh! Da.
Time and time again, being a little over eager, getting caught, and that's a habit
Păi
that
și
they
nu
have to
fi.
get rid of real quickly, or Vitality B is going to continue to strike back.
It's just constant one for one.
Adu-ți
It's just
tu.
on such a knife's edge because the second that someone falls one too many, that's an
Am
instant
înțeles
power
bine.
start, and now we've got a dragon contest.
And I mean, we've got a
Ce ai
4K
făcut?
gold lead, but it has been slimmed out, it has been stalled, it has been
Bine,
halted,
hai.
and plays like this again, as we talk about powers getting poured out.
Dacă la 20 de euro donați, vine te-ai film, dar nu apar pe aici, dar vă zic eu.
Brox is baited, and so is Vitality B as Nako tries to get on out, but this front line gets burnt down to its under 2. Skewmon jumped on. Triac feeling it. The burn enough, no. Red buff, the healing comes in clutch.
Just living on a sliver of HP. The Omni-Vamp from the jungle item now might be crucial in them getting this dragon that's up and available as well.
Can they get mid? On top of that, I mean, Vitality B don't look like they have the damage. Genax is about to go mega.
Wow, for a moment I thought Paros was getting caught again, but this time they were simply one step ahead. So many members were ready to follow, and we're going to see BDSA really exploding their lead here, getting third Drake being one step closer to Soul. Riga is pushing bot lane, but Vitality B trying to establish some control here. They will get...
You can see once again, BDSA, you know, they scout the enemy potential cross-map play. Genax plays as a human ward, and he spots, you know, maybe there's some weird kind of Baron start going on as a solo for the Douglas. I wonder if there's an accident, though, as he's trying to sweep our vision.
It's just painful, isn't it? I mean, BDSA, we're back to square one, 2.5k gold lead in the top lane that we've constantly been talking about. And note that Genax for the past 5 minutes hasn't actually backed. He's sitting on a lot of gold you'd expect, and that recurve boat was there about 5-6 minutes ago as well. Be curious to see when he gets towards third, as that's the back. Giant's belt comes through. So we're sitting on a little bit, maybe less than I expected. But regardless, the item diversity here is showing its individual lead.
Now, this top lane jungle control is going to be incredibly important because you want to make it really difficult for Vitality B to face check into the jungle so you can start up a Nash at a random time. Rush it down incredibly quickly, but it looks like they're taking control again of the river.
Well, right now, we have TP advantage on the Cassandra, so it's a great time for Vitality B to start forcing as Genax has to move all the way up. He's going to show bot lane here, they see him, and they're going to try to brute force.
Well, again, we saw some of these plays in the last game as well as they try and brute force. It's onto Paris once more, but under turret, that's their true goal. Solar Flare dodged away from, but the front lane engage is the target from BDSA. Vitality B walk on away as the poke from Gadui lands, but mid turret held onto, and both teams are so adamant in keeping mid alive for as long as possible.
We're just seeing the same thing over and over again. Side lane pressure into mid, trying to hit the tower, and mostly get a demolish proc and a little bit of chip damage, but it never really amounts to anything. Poke for poke comes out, but once again, I think if I'm by BDSA, I'm also looking at this bot lane tier 2 tower, especially with how strong Genax is in side lane.
The value of this 6-pick is absolutely immense here as well. 26 minutes in, Vitality B struggling for most of it, but he's managed to single-handedly keep this mid tower alive for so long, which makes it much more difficult for BDSA to get the deep vision, get the control, and continue to push forward.
Oh my god, what?
Feeling it too hard, he's bombed
What?
Punishing that shutdown, Kadui, maybe too high.
His barrier was up in 5 seconds, it was so close, but the dive under Douglas smells it coming, and he full combos Kadui. Stomps him into the pavement.
A vândut meciul ăla.
I think that's what we call nerves right there. That was a very aggressive play. Could even have been a misclick, but ultimately doesn't matter too much because luckily for him, his team is so far ahead, they can easily buy time for him to come back. And while the Kaiser is still gray screened, They're starting to set up vision on the top side, wanting to push in really aggressively top mid, wanting to secure deep vision for themselves.
Good dodge away from the Zenith blade, but Rika here is going to do a lot of work in a lot of short time. It's a 3-item Yone. Sten gets out of there, remembering he has Warmogs as he tries to face check as BDSA. Clear vision around for this Baron threaten.
So much tension around this top side. It's been going on for the past 15 minutes, 10 minutes rather. This Baron start is so potent, and both supports refuse to be picked off, which is what you normally see when they're contesting these vision boards.
Nucko poked out, Genax no Magnetar, trying to use range, is Yop up. For their first EMEA Masters title would lead them to match point. It would lead them to an affirmative action as BDSA start the Baron.
Douglas has been spotted down in bot side. They're rushing it down. BDSA, Vitality B, they can't contest.
They're poked down.
Too far away.
Their health bars are down. This is a massive mistake, and BDSA pounds the first seed of the LFL in full control of Sten. Starts to engage. Genax poked out himself, and they need a bit more range. Shusha Barrage helps out, but he's burnt. Regardless, Douglas sits there. His poke is a response from Kadui. It's a 1-kill trade for Baron and mid turret, but Baron's now off the map, and BDSA with quick thinking.
You simply cannot send your jungler down to do red buff at this point in the game. Huge mistake from Douglas here, and it led to the side of BDSA instantly punishing his overstep, instantly taking the Baron for themselves.
Now they will finally have the power,
finally will be able to secure the mid tower that they've been trying to secure for
bine,
almost
dacă
30
fac acum
minutes.
ceva cu goldul ăla, dar nu prea apare.
BDSA pick up Baron, able to get their side lanes in order. He will not be sleeping on the couch tonight.
Gen, ei au luat goldul pe Dragon, dar pe Baron, dar tot l-au pierdut.
One of the side laners has lost
De pe
Baron.
turn
Now
și
having
kill.
Baron's going to be really detrimental to the side lane play, but what they've done is instead they stick Rika up top side, and that pressure up top could translate into a TP flank as well on this Dragon.
I'm getting hypey because as we see TP come through from Genax, Stend has shown he's been willing to take these engages and set up Vitality B, but Skumon sits good for now. He's got a Banshee's Veil too. As Soul's there, gentlemen, a defining fight in this game. Teleports kicks us off.
Yeah, there's a TP ward behind the pit as well. If they want to go for that Rika, he could pull off the miracle flank.
Here comes the Yone slowly but surely looking for the flank, but Vitality has made sure to cover their flanks.
Barrett's engaged. Rika goes melee as well. Try to get to the back end. Rika's jumped on though, and no kill. Genax ulti does nothing. Vitality be healthy as we get an explosion from the mid laner in the back end. Genax tries as he will as Stend is hit. Kadui doesn't have the fly in. The flash in. Vitality B. A sting in, but Kadui cleans it out. Yopa zones him through. This dragon is
Nah, lucky, bro, efectiv unlucky.
and BDSA have them right where they want them. Kadui on the back end. He dies too, but a smite secures Soul. And margins, so close on the margins. But BDSA are alive again.
An insane back and forth with a counterplay after every single play. It looked like such a great angle for the Yone to find a 4-man ultimate, but he doesn't connect it. All he finds onto one person. And in the end, it doesn't even look that great. But then what you have is an overextension from Nako. It looks like he can find the play with the ultimate, but it doesn't quite connect, and he gets bursted down.
Such a good position here for Vitality B. But Skumon doesn't die, Nako ends up gray screen. And here we see the snipe from Kadui onto Darkglass that seals the deal. So many low health bars, so close to a massive comeback play, but instead it's a dire situation for the Bees at this point in time.
And I mean, that just showcases Vitality B trying to play up to the margins, but BDSA, they've got them downloaded, at least in this point. Look at the team fight damage, and you're not surprised that Kadui is hitting range. That Skumon's earlier lead is also doing a lot for this team in game number 3. BDSA now with Hextech Soul will go to a pause, but a 7k gold lead, it does feel like this is their game now to lose.
The level of micro from both of these teams, especially BDSA in that last fight, playing with Skumon isolated. I thought Skumon was dead there on that Zyra.
Good, isn't
Very
it?
low HP, completely out of range of his team, but managing to find the plays, managing to use his bait to find the play.
I feel like it's stage buff. The stage buff that's come through and the level that, I think, Broxy, you said at the start of this game, Vitality B have adapted to the series. They've shown a lot of improvement. BDSA always kind of there as well. Like the macro play we saw in this game, playing towards side lanes and then getting the Baron, of course, was just smart map moving, having that information. BDSA punished massively. And look, the crowd's out. It's been glorious for these players. Not only getting stage time, but getting the respect they deserve. Your claps are heard. We're going to resume the game. That's normally how it works. Respectable play is right. And BDSA, that's exactly what that last Dragon play was.
And I really love this Banshee's pickup for Skumon. It's going to make that win condition of picking him off and throwing that Ziggs ultimate over his head even more difficult to achieve because he just cannot be CC'd for that one moment. Now the siege is going to come through. Vitality going to contest this the tier 2s. I imagine just going to let them fall and protect those tier 3s.
There's still 2 minutes left for Baron. We're going to see BDSA soon looking for a final recall before it's time to shine and seal the deal by securing that final objective for themselves. Lona and Kaiser are already heading back, the rest to follow soon. And now Vitality B are going to be under a lot of pressure. They were so close on the Dragon. They almost made it back into this game. But now they need to win a fight. You don't get any second chances here. And they have set up some vision. Some of the jungle is dark. Maybe they can finally engage on a face-checking BDSA here.
I think Hextech solves such a huge hurdle to overcome, right? I think what they need to do is wait for Yoppa to complete that death cap on the Ziggs and rely on this. What they've drafted is a huge AoE wombo combo with the random damage from the Brandle and the Ziggs all over the top of CC. They need to make sure that's strong enough to contest, and that means waiting for the death cap.
Well, again, while we wait for that, Yoppa, it's all about the resources he can acquire on this defense. This defense at BDSA with this Soul can play so deep now, acquire that vision that we talked about into the enemy jungle to spot. Vitality B have to get inventive here, and I think with Hextech Soul, it makes it a little bit harder. I think Hextech Rift does a little bit of work as the wave is cleared at least, thanks to Ziggs. Yoppa keeping the push slow.
They do have the ability to stall. We talked about all game long. The amount of time it took for the tier 1s to break, now happening to the tier 2s as well.
Poke comes out. Again, Douglas is standing here. BDSA thinking about an engage, but they're on a ward. They haven't cleared out everything, so Vitality be nowhere they can step in range of Paris.
And right now it's a waiting game for BDSA more than anything. You don't have to take any risks. You don't have to go aggressive.
Sure, Vitality B say screw that. They go on in. Skumon is going to die, but into the backline Rika.
No,
in the nick of time as Nuck pushes them against the wall. Vitality B are winning this fight for now, but Nucko's getting burnt down. The engage comes through, and you can see Rika wants to zone on out as the ulti. Not good from Gadui until he ranges with W. We're close to margins again, but BDSA are hitting that shot. It may as well be a different game.
Quadra kill pentru Kedui.
And fun fact, Gen X wasn't even there. He was pushing mid lane, taking the inhib the entire time. So now they can all group mid and bring this one home. Incredible fighting from BDSA once again. 4 members on Vitality B side dying with their flashes up as well.
We came into this saying BDSA individually are just better. That fight shows us all we need to see. Match point, one step closer to the title. BDSA are back again.
Incredible game from BDSA. They were in control for the majority of it. They made great adaptations in draft, great adaptations in their play. And we saw the power of this team here firsthand. The team fighting, the coordination, the macro, everything was just there.
So much skirmishing power coming from BDSA. The level of micro in these team fights from both teams so contested, but Hextech Soul was just too much to overcome.
It was, but it was so close. A game 3 to be remembered here, as our 2 LFL teams may come to an ultimatum here. BDSA on match point to pick up that trophy. We find out if they can do it right after this break.
Freely using Katarina's cook.
Kindred cautiously cooked Kit Kat cupcake.
Kindred cautiously cooked Kit Kat cupcake.
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
Kindred cautiously cooked
Kit Kat cupcakes.
Carefully using Katarina's cute cookie cutters.
Ooh, I'm on it. I'm ready. Let's go.
Trebuie să testezi ceva, cea 2 secunde. Facem un mic test. Ah, shit. Să putem că ceva mai bine. De ce nu? Ignorați puțin, da? 2 secunde. Nu știu de ce mi-e sunetul pe crește atunci, dacă nu e pe crește. Nu înțeleg. Să-mi răspunde și mie cineva să mă aud. Sau mă rog, facem așa. Mă aud pe mine în crește. Voi mă auziți? Stai. Perfect, gata. Am hackuit sistemul. E ok, chat.
Cone is there, the smite slows him down, but the all out gets him out of harm's way, but the wild growth is back up and available, and against the wall, Genax says enough.
Yeah. My bot.
Flashes over the wall, Nako teleported in, but a blast cone interrupted! Nako again!
Okay, I'm dead. What?
Oh, I got 5 seconds. 5 seconds. 5 seconds. 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Chill. I will die. Kill 6 spells. I got
Closes out the third game of this best of 5 series. And my oh my, it feels like we're just gonna keep saying dominant, dominant, dominant again.
Yeah, but it was much closer in that early stage and for a huge amount of this as well. So even though it was dominant by the end of it, it felt like it was a hard-fought path for BDSA to get there. And I think there was definitely in the beginning a lot of that kind of dominance from BDS Academy where they had that control. They were cross-mapping well, but it kind of felt like when we got to that mid-game, just 1 or 2 mistakes really brought the game back for Vitality B.
Yeah, I think you have to give a lot of credit to Vitality B for the way they managed team fights in the mid-game, because after that first Herald fight, or the one Herald fight, I thought it was doomed. I thought it was over. BDSA were playing really well, but Vitality B managed to find a couple of these picks. They managed to find a few times when BDSA were just a little overextended.
And the big thing that I want to try and focus on here is how BDS Academy have set up in their side lanes to try and make things a little bit easier for themselves. They're a bit late because Skumon went for a reset. You also see Reeker going for a reset just coming out of base, but they're able to delay and slow the pace of this take coming through from Vitality B enough that they can then get Reeker back onto that bottom side. They push Vitality B out. With these lanes not really in the favor of Vitality B, they don't feel comfortable fully trying to position themselves in towards Herald, but by the time they do, Skumon is getting a ton of poke down on this bottom side, and you've got Reeker now on bot turret, and top turret's gone as well.
And I think one of the main problems for Vitality B here is you just have to make a decision. You just have to snap call. If we're going on Paris, we're actually going on Paris. We flash in, we don't have the Magnet Storm here, but we use that Renegade to really lock him down, because every time you look for that little bit of poke, well, BDSA have that too. Skumon puts some plants into the pit, and it becomes a lot harder for you to actually find purchase into one of those fights.
Yeah, something we said as well about BDS Academy is that if they are behind, they struggle to get back ahead. So it felt like Vitality was continuously pushing them, trying to put them on that back foot, but regardless of their attempt, it wasn't enough.
Well, the thing was, they got a really nice pick on Kutadui. Look, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. That definitely felt like he fat-fingered the R button when he was supposed to be going for the E, but in the grand scheme of things, it gave them that moment to get the comeback and a huge amount of get the lanes in their favor. And it came very, very close. And I think how close this fight, or this game was, really accumulated in that soul fight that we got to see, because that was absolute bedlam. I thought that fight ended 3 different ways from the get-go, and I didn't know he was going to come out on top.
Yeah, and you have to give Vitality a lot of credit for the way they start this fight off, because you can see Paris tries to engage, Chayek is able to get away, you have the Fate Sealed going in, but the stopwatch from Douglas prevents it, and the only person really getting chunked out is Nako. So after this point, you're like, whoa, BDSA are pretty low, they've already lost their mid lane, it's going to be a really difficult fight for them to navigate.
Yeah, but the problem was
Asta e titlul, e scorul în titlu cumva?
BDS Academy respond really well. Skewman still just using those plants as a little bit of poke. You get the extra kill coming through from the Kaisa. And here, Hextech Dragon's doing a bit of work onto BDS Academy. It got very sketchy, and especially with the kill going across, but Skewman's able to get the snipe, and then Genax came to come back in over the wall. So you could see how close on multiple different occasions this fight was to breaking either way. And that, for me, was the game-deciding fight.
Yeah, I totally agree. Alongside that, Genax having the Warmogs at that point, he actually started off a recurve bow, and we were like, oh, is he going to go Wit's End? Got the Giant's Belt.
In the early stopwatch from Douglas. Then he gets this final knock-up as well onto the Ziggs. He played this fight beautifully, and although it was Kadui who picked up the quadra kill, I really think Reeker had not only a standout fight, but a standout game as well.
Chat, se fac niște teste aici, îmi pare rău, nu vă întrebați dacă vorbesc singur sau chestii, vă rog, lăsați așa, credeți-vă.
Items or summoner spells or abilities blown as they went into these fights, and it just made the game so damn difficult for Vitality B.
Yeah, and even when we're looking at Vitality B, I think, again, we have to give them credit for how much effort they have put into this game and really trying to give BDSA a run for their money. But I think when we're looking at BDSA, the adaptability that we've seen from them based off of the previous game has been huge. We're seeing that this team growing over every single game we've had so far, and for their side of things, it's looking pretty good.
But this is the thing, right? For Vitality B, when I look at them, I can see them trying to match what the game plan is from BDSA. It's, hey, we know they want to go for these early skirmishes. Let's try and find a way to fight on that bottom side. Didn't quite work out. Okay, cool. Let's go for this late game scaling like we saw in this game and hope that maybe we can take these fights in the mid game, punish a bit of over-aggression. And they nearly get it to work here, but they're just that little bit too short.
And I think part of that is when you try and match someone at something they're doing, they tend to have more practice than you at that thing. And BDSA here is showing they understand when to step back from a skirmish, The Rift Herald is a great example. They were like, well, we could try and go 5 men up to the Rift Herald, or we can send Yone to bot side, we can have Genax continue pushing in top, and we get 2 towers out of it. Even if they'd lost the fight after that, it doesn't actually matter, because they've already got tower in top side, tower in bot side, and all Rift Herald's going to do is give you about half a turret worth of gold, right? So the net gain for BDSA off their macro play is just that slight step ahead of Vitality B so far.
And I do think that's why we end up seeing like a huge amount of these guys.
We have a lot of stickers prepared this time around so that we don't actually have to peel them off. But yeah, just go for it. Go crazy.
So Genax got R5 counter pick. He did use Gnar on it, which is kind of boring, but still. What else we got? We definitely had the first Baron.
Nu, păi nu vorbeam deloc atunci. Aveam 2 live-uri deschise.
I mean, that was a great one.
Asta e că vorbeau ăștia prea tare, mă, de aia. Îi lătrau ăștia.
First Dragon?
Where's First Dragon?
It's right.
Oh, here we are. Yep, you're right. Yeah, nice. What else we got?
Win went ahead.
One went ahead. Okay, we've run out of stickers.
I think we kind of.
I mean, that's also running out of.
We got the Jin as well.
Yeah, where we've got 2 of these. We actually have a bingo because Jumond and Paris have had that 3-man skirmish in game 1.
That is true.
Yeah. I can't.
Okay.
I don't have.
Mă trolează semine chat, n-am ce să fac. Mă trolează în ultimul hal. Mă auzi? Bun. Chat, uitați-vă, bucurați-vă de chestia asta.
Be very proud of ourselves.
Yeah, look, we are old when it comes to the League of Legends.
Hey, you got a bingo. You should be proud of yourselves. But I want to talk about that game that we're heading into now, because we're looking at BDS Academy, and they are literally on match point. They are 1 game away. They can taste that victory. But Vitality B, you're laughing.
I'm sorry.
You've been here before.
It was a week ago. BDS are there. They're on match point. They're 1 win away.
But when we're looking at Vitality B, that's the team that is here on the back foot. They need to bring it back, and it felt like when they were under that pressure after that first game, they were able to find it within themselves. They made some changes in that draft. They got the red side. So this time, how is that going to play out?
So I think I like the drafts that we've seen them come through in the last couple of games with. The problem that I'm having with them is that they're so focused on what BDSA are doing, they're not playing to their own game plan. We see them, hey, we've got a Ziggs. We can have this moment to cross map, go for this play, take first tower with the Ziggs, start to rotate them around the map, really open up the game. But instead, they're more worried about, oh, well, is BDSA going top? Do we need to cover top? And they're second guessing. Then at I think it was 11.5 minutes, they get Gen X catches Naknako on that top side. side. It feels like they're so worried about what they're doing, they're not focusing on how their game plan can be successful. So I think it's just focus on what is our comp, how do we execute it, and how do we put ourselves in the best position, not put BDSA behind.
My expectation is we'll see, obviously, Vitality B have gone over to the red side again. We're going to see a counterpick top side. We're going to see it played around quite a lot, right? I just think if you're Vitality B and you want to try and win this game, they don't often play through Nako. I would love to see them do it here, because if you can get something like the Varus top, if you can get something like the Vayne top again and actually put resources into it, I think that's how you can shut BDSA down, because so far Genex has really had Nako's number when it hasn't been a counterpick.
All right, well, I guess we're going to have to wait and find out, because we're ready to head into the 4th game of the series between BDS Academy and Vitality B with our casters, Hysterics, Aragon, and Broxa.
Yes, Broxa. Now, Medic, how much is the therapy bill going to be if this goes to a Game 5? That's what I want to know. Because as the BDS ambassador, he's been through a tough time.
That was
right?
the angle, okay.
He's been through a tough time. You know, against G2, there was a lot of hope, obviously, at first. Then it was a classic BDS reverse sweep against them. Here, it's not a reverse sweep, it's a very different angle. But BDS have been clinical, and we have to admit, that last game showcased a lot of BDS's talents. But we've also seen in this series that Vitality B are quite resilient. And we both, or all three of us really, have been impressed, I think, with the quality of this series. Yeah. And I think for a lot of people at home, the quality has been a lot better than they expected here as we go into Game 4 with Vitality B choosing the red side and BDSA once again getting rid of some of those pesky, annoying pocket picks.
And I do think this last game was the most contested game of all of them in terms of gameplay. Something in an adaptation I'd like to see from BDSA, despite winning, is actually banning away that 6. I think it was so problematic in terms of ending the game that they had to rely on such a late Dragon Soul win condition.
Curious to see if Vitality B are going to continue banning away the Israel like they did on 1-2 in the first 2 games. There it is indeed. And for BDSA in particular, last game, there was a Nila ban. Maybe that's going to make an appearance here as well.
Nila, Maokai, Vi, Rumble. These are the picks that I have my eye on. Misfortune as well. Rel has done actually kind of surprisingly bad this series, so maybe that isn't quite as high, but there are so many OP picks up and left available.
It's the mini meta in the series, isn't it? We've also seen, you know, that Alistar be an occurrence into it that for BDSA put them on the back edge. The Brom ban here, what does that show?
MF, Rel, in hard engage support's priority, as well as blocking that ulti from MF. Great setup ban there.
Well, let's see the final ban from Vitality B. I'm personally expecting a Rumble, something that Genex made a huge difference on earlier in this series, and it will most likely be first picked if they don't take it away right now.
But then you give it for Maokai, who I think is just by far and away the best jungler in the game right now. It sets up so much on the current meta. You could go Corki with Poke, you can go MF with huge wombo combo. That is not going to be locked in. That would be terrible. Yeah, for sure is Maokai here.
I mean, obviously, right now, we just hover and we think, use that time well. I love that you brought up the Maokai. I love also that we've also talked about the flexibility, sorry, not flexibility, but the effect of Rel. But it not being good, this is the honest answer.
So now you can go AP jungle. Brand is what they won with, but you can also go down the route of Ivan if you want to. Anti-tank in terms of picks as well. What do you think, Broxa?
Well, Douglas has been very, very good on Vi early in this tournament, something that would pair fantastically with the likes of a Rel. I would not be surprised to see them locking in a bit of hard engage of their own, but
back to this.
There we go. Yeah. Back to comfort, back to Brand.
Lock in what you want on in game 4 rather. Make sure you got the comfort, and you could line it up with a Jhin if you want to. Lots of Poke. Corki, Yone is a great combo with the Maokai because you layer the ultimates as well. It's a fantastic duo.
I just love for both though, we're already getting comfort. You know, for this game 4, Douglas had a rough semi-finals. So far in finals, I think he's been a performing member. And on this Brand again, versus Rika on the Yone, which Jet's last game, game 1, Rika's Yone has been pretty clean.
He's been a very, very dominating part of BDSA in particular. And now, with the Misfortune being locked in, we're seeing very, very, very strong team fighting from the side of BDSA. Now, Vitality B most likely would be locking in the response here to the Misfortune.
Jhin
but
probably,
then again, Jova has a champion Ocean, so you never really know.
I think best answer objectively is the Jhin. No, is it probably?
Okay.
It's a flex Yasuo.
It's a flex, and
but
it's a
Yoppa
classic.
plays it.
It's a classic Vitality B. When I labeled this team, I thought, what's the best one-word line that could perfectly encapsulate Vitality B? Flex. And you've said it again. We know they both play it, and it's just so classic at this point.
The thing is, though, I just look at BDSA's comp and I am terrified. That is such a meta and strong composition. You've got the best jungler in the game layered over with the AoE of the Misfortune, with the Brawn ban. There's no real answer into that. I think they have such good setup to deal so much damage in this team fights.
I think Yasuo really is the perfect champion for Vitality with the way they've been playing. Go hard or go home style, full aggression, only one way in that sport. And here for them, they're showcasing to us now that if they are to go out, they're going to go out with an absolute bang, ready to fight.
There's that 6-ban, something that was pesky for game number 3.
Yeah, they're not quite sure if it's Yasuo bot or Yasuo mid. It could definitely go to both of them. We know both of these players do play the champions, so they have to ban out bot laners as well as mid laners if they want to. I've seen a lot of Yasuo globally, and I've been very unimpressed because what usually ends up happening is the Yasuo goes in for the big burst, it doesn't finish off, and then the whole team fight is lost. So we'll have to see if Vitality B can pull it off.
Well, pretty interesting situation here where Vitality B can go in a lot of different directions with the Yasuo, like we already brought up in particular. Nila now being taken away. Many champions gone from the bot lane pool. Jhin, a champion we saw earlier this series, having a lot of success, now being locked in.
Can also be a top Yasuo. Am I cooking too much, gents?
It depends. If there's a blind pick range champion like a Gnar or something like this, then it could be, but you just wouldn't blind that into a flex Yasuo, right? It also is a potential flex for Gen X as well with the Yone. We've got to keep that in mind. This is cooking. It's a lot of cooking. I do think it's just going to be mid lane though, right? You just have mid lane Yone and you're just going to blind pick a top laner here. Something like Cassante could be good.
Oh my god, we saw this in spring. Do you remember in spring, EMEA Masters, BDSA obviously could only get to semi-finals, but Paris would pull this out. This was his little pocket pick. Seeing this here on match point is a bit of ego, and I love it.
You think they're going to go Leona or something like this to set up the MFL, but he says, no, I'm going to put my foot down. We're going to send it with Pyke and win the early game. Blind pick Kennen, what does NaKnaCo have in store? There's so many potential answers into this. You could even send Yasuo top lane if he's feeling it. But this is the moment of truth. NaKnaCo, what's he going to cook?
Kennen is ranged. It hits the same criteria. I see potential. Just depends on flavor here.
Usually it's Jace, stuff like this. Jace is really good into Kennen. It's really hard to counter, but it depends if NaKnaCo's comfortable. He does like range jumps. Oh, Vayne again?
No.
No
oh
way.
My God.
Vayne and Pyke. I didn't think we'd be seeing this today.
We're in for a crazy game 4 here. Both teams have cooked massively. One thing is certain in this game, we're going to get a lot of fighting.
And also, I think it's going to end pretty quick. This Pyke usually is a champion that falls off very, very hard. You have such a strong early game and laning phase and the ability to roam, but you really do fall off in terms of utility.
So we're saying snowball to hell, or just hell flat out?
You do have a backup plan of the huge wombo combo and the team fights and scaling late game for BDSA, but you do have the early bridge in the Pyke, which could fall off. On the other side, though, again, lots of AoE, the wombo combo with the Yasuo and the Rel, lots of AoE from the brand as well, and the isolated scaling of NaKnaCo on
Who
the
you
main,
got
which
in
we
map
saw
4?
him
What
pop
do you
up.
mean, man? What do you mean, James?
Let's see what happens.
Asta e EMEA Masters, frate, și mâine o să facem restream la LEC. Așa că vă aștept pe live. Bine, nu întreba ce stau și vorbesc cu
So relevant, Broxer, and I got a fun stat that our production has just sent to me. In his career, Paris is 6-0 on this Pyke. He is unmatched on it. He is undefeated on it. And he brings it out in a game 4 when BDSA, the first seed of LFL, are at match point. This team looking for their first title. You know, we talked about it, at least talked about it earlier on the broadcast. It was so upsetting for the BDS fans of the LEC when their team couldn't represent. They couldn't come to Munich. They couldn't go to Worlds. And here we are with BDS Academy, finding their merit when their main team did not. And in such a competitive series, it is BDSA who have brought out their macro game. As we talked about, as we expected, Vitality B have snatched a game off, but they're going to go so much further to bring us to a game number 5. Otherwise, BDSA will be looking at their first EMEA Masters trophy. And for these 5 players as well, right into the heart of the spotlight for so many teams across the world. Skumon in a bit of trouble though, and this is the big start. We're getting the invade, and Skumon might be in trouble. A couple of autos, NaKnaCo going to commit for it. He tumbles, but he dies in the end. A 1-for-1. Now, it was first blood over to NaKnaCo, but Skumon is going to be a little bit slower getting set up. End of the day, Vayne with the first blood ain't bad.
Yeah, NaKnaCo managed to pick up the kill without using any of his summoners, while Skumon now having no flash in Maokai, meaning he's going to have much less you know, pressure in the early game, Maokai is not that scary in terms of ganks without that flash.
Yeah, in terms of early game, Maokai really is just a flash W bot, isn't it? So.
Well, I'm going to go start paying Broxer for clairvoyancy, because what did you say? It's going to be a very quick game, or it's going to be very bloody.
Well,
and, I mean, we did start earlier than expected, but 2 kills by 1:30 to kick off the laning phase is exactly the direction you ordered.
I think these solo lanes are going to be so volatile. You've got a lore battle in the mid lane, and then up top side, you have no TP on Nagnako. So if he ever gets chunked, that's a recall into missing a bunch of minions. So any kind of attention up top side, especially since you have so much point to click, I am really doubtful about this Vayne because all the AoE and the stuns. Regardless though, a bit of an invade. Ward spots him out.
Yeah, I'm liking this early Maokai invade here. Unfortunately for Skumon, his opposition was aware of it, dropped the wards, and now they're going to have to determine on Vitality's B sides how they want to respond. Are they going to look to pick off the Maokai in the jungle, or could Douglas potentially go for a counter invade on the other side? Vayne is in a great spot, getting that first blood, getting the advantage, and will be pushing in cannon, so top prio will be a given.
Yeah, he will get prio top side, like you're saying. With that Vayne, he still has the exhaust to potentially win that fight in 2v2. But it's a map split, right, for BDSA. Now, the problem is there going to be trades heavy enough for a dive potentially down in bot side? And if he goes for a gank now, he's definitely spotted. Shayek should be able to back off here.
Yeah, both wards there. You can see temporary ward up towards the top side as Janax might be in a bit of trouble. Exhaust is down, and with Night Hunter passive, he has to flash. The lane continues to be Nagnako favored.
Yeah, he wants to preserve his HP here. He flashes. I don't think he would have died, but he's scared of getting chunked into a dive on this slow push crash because Douglas is map splitting this. They're map splitting down bot side, so Douglas is up top.
And so far, the Maokai invade hasn't done too much. Both junglers have gone even at this point. Douglas looking for the dive, but he knows Skumon is responding. Question is if they dare to go for it regardless.
Here comes the Q flash.
It's a flash, amazing timing. Nagnako picks up the kill with a response from Skumon. He might have enough damage. No, Sapling is out of range. Nagnako's going to tumble on in. He's looking for the fleet. He doesn't get the movement speed off of Gromp, but Scrying Ult doesn't give that either. The AoE dodged away. Douglas is out-kited, outplayed. Skumon, one more auto. Nagnako gets it as Reek is now into the thick of it. Wants a last kill. He's condemned away, but he burns eventually. A double kill as the blood. We were talking about it, and it's already hit 6 kills in. Crazy movement from the brothers.
The TikTok Yone coming out with the insane combo. What an insane skirmish up there. Skumon having no flash yet still outplaying, waiting for his W cooldown to dodge out on the spells from the brand and manage to find a win for BDSA.
What an incredible fight. Crazy skirmishing. Super impressive mechanics from both sides. But ultimately still an even game here with 6 kills at 4 minutes.
Because again, now there's a 500 gold lead on a 2-kill Yone mid for Rika as Chayak is running away. There is good damage here, but Chayak misses the Q. The Steel Temper's not there, and the poke, and rather I say the trade from Rika goes better in the end. Rika also has a red buff there too.
Yeah, red buff, doing huge work in those trades there. You see Pyke is actually moving up as well. That chunk might do work, but he does hit the wind wall in 5 seconds. Could block out the Q. Paris.
It's annoying, he's looking for it. Where's that wind wall? The flash, melee range with Ignite there. Hail of Blades as well. Chayak running for his life, but he doesn't get anything. Double zoner down from Paris. Chayak is there as the response from Sten, and Douglas again on this brand. Burns him alive. Rika runs for his life. Chayak is unharmed, and Douglas is feeling it.
You thought it was going to be a good play from the Pipe because of the 2 seconds on the wind wall, but in the end, Paris is left isolated. The collapse is huge from Sten, and they managed to find a collapse. Killing the Pike early is massive.
Now 45 seconds for the Void Grubs to spawn. Pretty easy for both junglers to secure it. We're going to see Douglas quickly clearing his Raptors and his Crocs before probably looking for a recall into that objective. BDSA are going to have to bot prayer and could easily rotate up with the Pike, or even potentially bring him Misfortune from base as well.
It's so volatile, it's so bloody. That roam mid countered, and again, this is like the game number 2. Douglas on this brand. Very switched on when you consider that we came into today saying, oh, Skumon, LFL Finals MVP. This guy is too good to be in EMEA Masters. Douglas was originally in the LEC. Douglas was adapting to the main Vitality roster, and he started developing in front of our eyes. Here in this series, you talk about development, I think Douglas, again, stepping up to the plate is a big deal.
Yeah, hearing a certain Kazi interview, he said, you know, the best thing about Douglas is he's super decisive. He will make these plays, he will make these dives, you know, these counter jungles. He will instantly choose a decision, and you can see it right here.
Well, getting out of harm's way before Genax looks for the engage. Now he doesn't have level 6, but that's a big wave up topside as Naknako level 6 himself moves with that set priority onto Grubs.
And we're going to be seeing the ASUS slowly moving up.
Yeah.
Kidui rotating into the, jungle, hesitating, thinking about moving, but at the end of the day, stays. Now you can see him, he's moving back and forth, unsure if he should come all the way up to the Herald, because Vitality are giving it up, heads back to bot lane, Rika goes mid, and that was a really, really good usage of the bot prior we saw earlier from BDSA to make sure that Vitality doesn't even consist.
Yeah, Vitality be deciding, it's a bit too hard to land the combo with the Rel and the Yasuo ultimate in that fight. Yasuo a little bit too disconnected from the fight versus all the flashes. So, gonna pull back and give over those grubs.
This is sneaky. I'm looking top because Sten with a Hex Flash. What's he engaged like? Just to force Genax back, but Sender's now spotted out, and they know that that support ain't in the right lane. Maybe that's a free dragon with the information over to BDSA.
And we're seeing the Vayne pick pay off once again. 3 kills secured for Naknako, 1.2k gold up. And once again, more aggression coming out of BDSA. I'm really liking the proactiveness we're seeing from Powers and Skumont in this game. And of course, continuing to play aggressive around bot makes a lot of sense for them with Kidui picking up a kill level 1 and having pressure.
Good. But onto the engage support, he's in a bit of trouble. That Q from Skumon was so good! Man, a disengage and put me in place as well. Sten caught out by Rika. Okay, Skumon, I take it back, brother. I get why you're so good.
Skumon with the monster Q interrupting the Rel leap, stopping the engage just when you think that Vitality are going to turn around the play on the pick on Douglas. Take a look here, right at this Maokai Q as it happens.
And the fight starts out perfectly with Power sniping Douglas with the hook. Great follow-up from Kidui on the Misfortune ult as well, and suddenly nothing Sten can do. Caught between 4 members of BDSA who are now having 1,000 gold lead. Very, very fit 80 carry and mid laner that they can easily play around.
And that was the price of trying to make a play topside to Naknako. You saw Sten was up top for so long that BDSA decided, we're going to invade with this time. And Sten is going to be late, so we just invade the entirety of the bot side. And it pays off.
And it pays off because it gives Rika another kill as well. Paris looking for the Bone Skewer. Yoppa is out of range. That kill over to the Yone. I mean, Rika, we were already setting up how good he's been this series on this pick. He's 3-0 early into the game. He's got almost a 1k gold lead. Yes, the Vayne top is ahead, but Rika once again set up. Bot untouched because this Misfortune has had a safe laning phase. BDS in this early game, they're still up in a little bit of gold, and we can see why.
And it just feels like a whole new Rika, but the engagement's through.
Chayak does flash away though. Douglas is here to help him out, but Rika just ultied. Flash now down for Chayak on Yasuo.
Rika, a player that I feel like had a much worse EMEA Masters in spring. I remember being critical of his laning phases, but it just feels like he's so much more turned on this EMEA Masters.
His champ pool was bad, right? We were like, oh, this guy plays Orianna, what else can he do? I think we were very critical because, again, there are a lot of concerns to his playstyle, but hell, I can say the same thing about a lot of BDSA. Brox of this series, I mean, Skumon has not only shown how he's developed over the years, I should say. Even on this Maokai pick, he's showing more diversity than we know him for in historics, which is the Nunu pick and a little bit more.
Well, this guy's the LFL MVP for a reason, and he's showing us today what he has to offer with a diverse champion pool, like you're saying. Now, Void Grop's up in 40 seconds. Douglas wants to sneak this dragon away, not realizing that it's actually warded by BDSA. We're all coming out of base with item spikes. This is a very, very scary position for Vitality B to be in.
No flash on Douglas. Paris is very quick on the map. They can look for a pick here. Skumon does have the ultimate. You can cast from Fog of War.
Paris doesn't have his X marking the spot. Stend as well, no Magnet Storm.
That wind wall is doing a lot of work, the threat of it, to block that Maokai ultimate.
Chayak being cheeky, looks for the engage and rather baits Rika into walking next to him. Bone Skewer, no connection, but Paris has just hit death from below. Stend also, level 6 for both supports as Nature's Grasp flies through. Bone Skewer looking for Stend, he crashes down, he buffers but he won't get out. Stend has to flash away and there's no re-engage. A core tool down and BDSA with one ulti make their way to the dragon.
Nice chain CC from BDSA there. The Rel buffers the initial CC but the follow-up chain comes through. The wind wall value was on there because they split up, so now it's going to convert into river move and they finally find their way into the dragon.
And BDSA are in the driving seat right now. If they play their cards right, they're going to get not only the Drake, but also the Void Grubs as well. And now have an opportunity to create a massive, massive lead for themselves. We're already seeing it here. Powers quickly rotated up towards the top side, setting up vision around the Grubs. Zajic has to be really careful because his flash is still on cooldown on the Yasuo.
Chayek. Yeah, you're right. Close to that threshold again. Remember that Paris can get resets in a fight too. We talked about the mobility there as Curtain Call on the bottom side. He knows he's in threat, and Yoppa needs a bit of help here, but I don't know if he's going to find it. Skumon looks at the twisted advance. It's a bramble smash. He misses that though. Flashes away. Now under turret. Kadui has no choice, but he's dead. A 1-for-1 BDSA mucking up the dive.
Yoppa with a pop-off play, trying to clear the wave, but MF blocks the ultimate to clear the wave. Still managed to find the pick under the tower with a ramping damage. 1v1's coming through in the mid lane.
Doesn't go anywhere. Douglas looks for the pick, but instead, you're right. You know, in that last play, Yoppa steps up, and the one guy with an EMEA Masters title in Kadui is taken down. A bit of gold evening for that bottom side that has been in the laning phase, chilling for the entire game.
And I think more than anything, that was a pretty important learning lesson for BDSA right there. They should just have moved up towards top side, gone for the Grubs, looked for the objective, and then try to find something bigger later. But this is a mistake we League players often make. See champion, kill champion mentality, instead of just patiently waiting for a bigger and better play. Now, I would still expect them to try to play aggressive, play fast with plates timeout in just 1 minute from now.
I will say, there is beauty in these compositions, and that is there is no frontline outside of a rel, right? So your frontline is your ability to outplay and win the fights. I'm worried for Vitality B, because champions like Vayne, into all this AoE, you're going to need a QSS or something to be able to navigate it. There's so much damage. If he ever tumbles forward, that's instant pull trigger, just like this.
Another dive, another moment. The bullet time, though, is perfect! An X to mark the spot and a burial that with it might even take the voice. Douglas now at half HP will dodge away with a flash, but there's the follow-up. If it's not one tool, it's another. The LFL first seed ain't slowing down.
The crossmap play onto bot side, the Misfortune and the Maokai combination from Skumon and Kadui looks amazing. It one-shots Yoppa, who had to expend his flash in the previous dive, and he has not been surviving these bot lane dives very well.
Incredible, incredible play from BDSA, who now continue to explode their gold lead even further. We're now going to be seeing them rotating towards top quickly. Bot tower is gone. Genix is going to recall and move bot to match whoever goes there, but for them, it's all about putting their foot in the gas pedal, trying to get this top tower as soon as possible. Could even go for the Herald if they wish, but they can really do whatever they want with these massive, massive advantages that they now have across the board.
No teleport available for Shayek in the bot lane, so he's gonna have to either recall and go to this Herald if he wants to contest, or commit bot lane. He's kind of in between, because this Rift Herald is gonna get taken, he's not gonna be able to help. So, BDSA winning this Herald with no crossmap play available. It's just winning for BDSA.
But wait, Vitality B do have something up their sleeve. Hex Flash going to be used on the Paris Shattering Strike out there. Magnet Storm is no great. Condemned Nuko has a freebie here. Another kill to the Vayne top, and Vitality B ain't taking it lying down.
Nice play. The plays shadowing the Vayne pays off in the end. Sten managed to find the chain CC onto the pike. Now, what can this convert into? Because there are still numbers up top. I'm really worried about Vitality B. They seem to be all out of sorts, because you can see Shayek on this Yasuo constantly unsure as to what to do. He's just walking around, not committing to hitting the tower because of the threat of numbers potentially ganking him. So there's no real play outside of a pick.
And right now, we're seeing BDSA respecting, knowing that Vitality could be looking for another pick.
Yep.
Powers coming out of base, and now he'll be more cautious, slowly get the control of the topside river. Actually deciding to shift back down, realizing Drake is spawning, and wanting to continue to be able to play for that soul. Good rotation from them.
I mean, again, BDSA start with the Dragon game, 30 seconds till we get towards the next, and I'm looking at items here, gents, and I'm seeing an almost 2-item Misfortune. I'm seeing the same with Rika, who got such an early game lead, and a Kennen with a Hextech Proto Belt with Flash available with level 11. Yes, he's got 2 exhausts to work with, but Vitality have to be on their toes for this next fight if they want to deny this Dragon stacking.
The AoE Wombacom is going to hit like a truck.
Oh, like that. A good pick on Paris again. Douglas comes in with Sten and sets it up. Trying for the last breath, and finally they stop breathing as Genex slices and dices with a bit of lightning burns through, and that's great for Vitality B, but Skumon with a Nature's Grasp.
But look at mid lane. They're buying so much time, BDSA are, and Misfortune is just hitting
and
it
they
to
might even
break.
find a kill here, looking for Dropper, it's denied. Stand at least slowing them down as Skumon can't get in range, but you're right with the Herald. BDSA again, the map is just their oyster.
And a charge onto tier 3 is unprecedented at this mid in the game. 16 minutes in, almost striking that tower, but again, BDSA secure the dragon.
The LFL first seed can feel it. Gold is still at 4K, it's definitely not over. But we keep seeing these smart map movements, we keep seeing these plays around bot side, set up with Skumon, with Kadui, and of course, based on Paris. And it works for BDSA as they get more gold into the lead again.
So far, we've really only seen Vitality B catching Paris. It's what's kept them in the game, but we need to see them finding ways to include their main top, who still has a massive advantage. With that being said, great pick here. Good response from BDSA as well, instantly TPing in on the cannon. Fantastic cannon ult coming out of GenX here.
I think the exhaust comes down a little late from Stend. It doesn't quite cut off most of the cannon ulti, which may have saved or bought a few more seconds, but this is always a losing play because you're against Rift Herald. Any kind of play that extends is going to be a terrible tower trade. Rika has a CC buffer.
Looking for the bait. You can see Paris as well with the bones pieces together, but BDS just make sure they never meet.
Great positioning here from Kadui as well. Always able to sit in the back, just continuing to pump out that damage.
Alo, chat? A picat netul. Stați voi, 2 secunde. Alo,
the teamwork
ce-a
from
puțin, mă?
BDSA was just one step ahead.
You have so many threats not to worry about that. Yone ult coming through, the flash cannon ult, we saw the potency of it. You have a lot of exhaust, but you got to land them on the right target as well. Another winning play, and it's turret after turret after turret.
So 2 dragons, 5K gold lead. Baron's up in a minute 30 to start threatening. Look at the replay here, because Broxer again, it feels like Vitality B are getting some angles, but they just don't have the follow through or the finish up.
I think they had the right idea here, wanting to fight with Vayne finally. But Jin was nowhere to be found, didn't even make it to the fight in time. We didn't have exhaust for the cannon ult. All these little things make such a big difference. And while the idea was there, while they seem to be learning from their mistakes, again, they got over eager. It's the one thing that's been haunting them, holding them back in this series.
Zen gonna get out. Rika's looking for a bit of engaged potential himself. He takes some damage as Douglas gets a stun. Skumon with the Nature's Grasp is behind as they TP to defend. Paris still has an angle here with death from below, up in 5 seconds.
Vitality B, they're on a time limit here. You can see Kennen pushing in top lane. He could threaten that tier 2 tower unless someone recalls, but the threat of that fight from BDSA kind of playing with the emotions of Vitality B a little bit here. Do they recall? Do you not recall? Looks like they're gonna go and defend top.
Well, they realize they have no choice at this point. BDSA are quickly pushing mid, pushing top. There's going to be TP advantage for them as well. Kennen TP up in a moment. Yone already has TP as well. And that is going to make it very easy for them to continue playing the map and secure more tier 2s for themselves. Now, I just want to see them closing out this game cleanly. You have 5,000 gold. You have 2 TPs available. It's very simple and easy for you to just push out one side, shift down towards mid, and create a number advantage in the other.
On the flip side, Vitality B, your biggest wildcard potential in the top lane, the Vayne. I feel like cards are on the table now. You know Vitality B, they just keep shattering the Vayne over and over and over again. 2 items completed, most solo kills and most solo deaths. He is the biggest wildcard for Vitality B to potentially carry a fight, and it's all on him. The gold is all on him as well.
Vitality B knows that the only way of contesting this vision is to go directly into the mid lane. Jungle is a danger zone. BDSA are lingering around, hoping somebody's going to face check, but Vitality B have learned from their mistakes, and they're entering with caution this time around, knowing that one way or the other they have to sneak some vision onto the Baron soon.
But how hard is it when Paris has himself an Umbral Glaive and he can one-shot wards, he clears out in an instant. Sen puts that down, but there's a small cooldown as he goes so deep to do it. Nature's Grasp will follow him and fly. The cats lock him into the ground as Paris looks for the ulti. A Magnet Storm won't save his life. Paris does the job, and BDSA have numbers all of a sudden.
Just like you were saying, the Umbral Glaive is such a pain point, but so are the Maokai saplings. If you're Sten, you're trying to contest vision, you just can't walk through.
And right now, Douglas has no flash available, so Vitality B are going to have to force their way into the pit, brute force a fight, get this brand into range if they are to contest, but the cannon is looking for the light.
It's game ending, it's series ending, it's EMEA Masters trophy lifting, defining. Genax on a ward, though. They'll see him as Vitality B need to save their series, but they can't. Rika misses as Genax gets sent back, but still gets a stun. Never mind, a Stead comes in off the backline. BDSA might be too strong. Triax trying, but Kadui is blasting them apart. A triple kill over to the 80 carry. 7-1 and 4, and BDSA may have just defined their line in the sand.
And in a best case scenario fight for Vitality B, BDSA still come out on top. You had the condemn into the cannon. It doesn't matter. BDSA win, and now they're going to secure a dragon.
That was a big, big moment for the series, a moment where most likely champions were created. And let's see it once again here on our screen. Genax looking for the flank, eventually gets spotted. Vitality B playing with hesitation, knowing they're outnumbered, knowing that Genax is looking for them, and it's so difficult. In hindsight, they definitely should just have given up the objective. They have no business being here, but the desperation ends up costing them big time.
And it's just so hard without Flash on Douglas there to walk in an ultimate, because as the brand, you want to walk forward and ult in that Baron pit with a shredded magic resist. They just can't make it work.
Have you noticed every fight we've seen as well, this Misfortune gets so much uptime, gets so much separation. You know, Vitality must be sitting with anxiety right now because they can't get the perfect fight. And this feels like a remembrance back to Game 1, where Game 1 we talked about Vitality kind of getting forced into these bad situations. While Baron was a must there, BDSA picked the fight that they wanted.
Kadui, a man who has been an EMEA Masters 8 times, is sitting on a 5,000 gold lead in the 80 carry position on potentially the defining game. As I hype him up, the boy gets caught. We still have a series now.
Ladies and gentlemen, all you need is Broxer to talk about your player. And you might get some magic done, but Genax's damage stops me there. Knucker with a condemn away while Sten is about to die. Rika teleports into the backline and gets his ulti down to get the kill. He's isolated as Vitality. Look for the 1 kill out of this fight that they can follow up with, but Rika's not dead. X is marking the spot, and Paris, the pirate, that will look for more. Vitality are gonna die for a third, and another's gonna drop. Paris cleans it up, and BDSA are rolling their roll to freedom.
A huge cleanup from Paris here. BDSA put on a clinic in this team fight. You see the Vayne without a QSS, without a cleanse. You just cannot play versus the point and click of the Maokai W, and it's going to open up the tier 2 for BDSA.
Keep in mind, they won that fight without the most important member, without the Misfortune. The confidence to even engage. Absolutely incredible stuff, and we're gonna see it right here. Kadui finds a pink ward, Sten instantly pulls the trigger. Yoppa follows with the root. He doesn't get to play League of Legends stall, but then BDSA lingering around the corner still finds an opening.
Yeah, Sten gets chain seeded a little bit there, but Naku, where are you going? Right? The TP is coming through the flank as well, but Naku is isolated and he can't play. The chain seed from the W comes through, and then watch this Q3 from Rika. It is so clean and lands onto 3 people, getting out to safety as well.
Beautiful fighting all around. In this fight, we're seeing why BDSA have so massive priority on the Yone. Incredible team fight.
And it's the individual pick that has come through. That has come through for this 4th game from Paris as well, is now starting to pop off. You see, ain't the most damage, but he gets a reset and picks up a triple in the last engage. It's an 11k gold lead. I'm not sure what I said before. They're finding their way to freedom, was my meaning, because their freedom towards that trophy, their freedom away from the pressure from BDSA, who in spring fell short to Besiktas in a Game 5, are now looking to go against their adversaries in Vitality B and get it finally across the finish line.
And now Vitality B have their backs against the wall for real. 10,000 gold down. Drake spawning in 1 minute and 30 seconds, which would be an infernal soul for BDSA. Baron in 1 minute and 50.
Oh my god, how do they deal with this? Rika dived in, Chaya gets an ulti, but he's denied. A curtain call for who you ask, as BDSA with 5 up in this top lane. They just cannot be stopped.
Absolutely incredible stuff from BDSA here. This team that's been dominating in the LFL, dominating in the EMEA, are now so close to taking the trophy.
Season of first, isn't it? First LFL title, leads into first EMEA Masters trophy. And here in Munich, I mean, it's been such a good series, it's been such a good individually skilled series, but in this final game, we're once again seeing that difference. for some of these star carries.
And the problem is it's just so easy for BDSA, right? They just have to press R. There's a reason you do not give Maokai. There's a reason he's the best jungler on the current patch. You just press your Rs, MF layering over a Maokai, the same with the Kennen and the Yone. It's so simple to play. And Vitality B, they have to resort to these crazy flanks, these picks.
Douglas, help him.
No flash available on the brand.
I know a Dagda who'd be screaming here as well, but a Douglas, we're not going to get to hear it firsthand. Kadui picks it up with ease. It is going from bad to worse as BDSA, I think Infernal is calling their name.
Very, very unfortunate moment to die. Infernal Soul coming up in just a moment. If they pull the trigger quickly, they could even take Baron before Brand is back on the map as well.
The waves are terrible. There's no room for a cross map. You can see Vayne up top side, nowhere near that tier 2 tower. They can't contest this dragon because of the death from Brand. They're just gonna have to set up some jungle camps on their own side. And by time, Elder is the last source of hope. Vitality B.
Yoppa can't do anything. Paris is in his face. Elder, you're right, would be a massive flip if they could do it. But here's Rika again, misses Yoppa with a good sidestep. He flashes out, but Rika gets what he wanted for pretty much nothing. Yoppa now flashless.
No flash, you can't contest this Baron if you want to. He can walk up, but there's a flash Genax or a flash Rika onto his head once again if he walks up in range.
A miracle still, magic to happen. Nature's grasp.
Douglas! He finds the steal, but on the back end, can they win the fight? Genax goes into a circle and puts the fork in the plug. They're electrocuted, they're battered, they're torn. They get a magic steal, but it's all for nothing.
You see, this organization has a curse. BDSA do not care.
Incredible, incredible stuff from BDSA this entire series. We got hyped for a moment. Great steal from Douglas, but it just doesn't matter.
The expectations were met and the domination was set where the father failed, the son will not. The rising stars of the ERLs are BDS Academy, the first seed of the LFL with their first championship of the EMEA Masters.
Wow, ceea ce faceți! O finală uimitoare la EMEA Masters. BDSA câștigă. Nu vine să cred, chat. Wow! BDSA wins the series, chat. Haideți să îl sunăm pe Fury să-l anunțăm.
In such a packed arena. I mean, what an insane set of games.
Oh yeah.
The skill ceiling on both of these teams, I feel like in
câștigat
lots of these scenarios, both teams were winners in terms of how they play these fights. The micro is beautiful to watch.
Both teams set expectations upcoming in the ERLs, and you know, I was saying coming into this that quarterfinals, semi-finals, it felt like the performance wasn't there. BDSA walked over Heretics and Vitality. It was a bit back and forth with Team GO, but this finals delivered. And for a culmination of ERLs, a culmination of EMEA finals, it's insane that BDS went through the hurdle that was Vitality B. Your EMEA Masters Summer Champion. So well deserved. The best of the best upcoming.
Hai.
They wanted it now. They rose up.
Ia uite, au arti chicii ăștia, mamă ce mi-aș băga capul în alea. Faia aia e freză.
Every single player took their turn in carrying in every single game. Not a single player you could say is not deserved.
Nu vine să cred, chat.
Individual star talent. And this team that so many expected at the start of the year after falling short in spring wouldn't be able to get as far as they did. Well, they went further. You've heard the KC fan clubs that ride and love the region, but BDSA took it to them. And this first seed, as I said, expectations were met here with such a beautiful showing.
Whoa!
Keep in mind, there's been so much on the line for all these players. Of course, securing this trophy is absolutely massive.
Let's go!
But they have cemented themselves as some of the best players in Europe. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of promotions lined up in the nearby future.
With so many games of individual performances that I talked about, I think everyone had a performance that is like LEC worthy, right? And obviously we're coming off the hype of a grand final in a stadium that sometimes subverts expectations. But you know, I've got two pro players with me, two guys that you know, you're both not watched, I know. You have this expectation and you know the bar. So if you're telling me that this was quality, this is BDS who all 5 players deserve a shot, I believe you.
It's just the eye test. You see this level of micro in the LEC as well. I think so many players, I think back to specific performances as well. 12-0 on the Viega for Skumon. That was my
MVP is going to be hard.
Yeah, it is.
MVP is really hard for that series.
That's going to be a tough one indeed. Also worth, just for a moment, giving praise to Vitality. A lot of analysts were expecting them to get 3-0'd coming into this series, but they showed up time and time again. Most of these games were incredibly close, incredibly competitive, and we really couldn't have hoped for a final much greater than this one.
We came in today with a setting of a 3-0, 3-1. Now, 3-1 was hit, but not in this way. Not in this way at all. France's #1 seed. That's incredible. It's just incredible to see this level of play on a main stage when, for a lot of these guys, no titles, right?
Yep.
No titles picked up. A first for many.
1 trophy between 10 of the players on the stage. 0 trophies for 9 of them, and that's going to change.
An absolute pleasure. Of course, we get commendation on the other side. Brock's already said it. But man, they were tested. Not as easy as anything. And while there were a lot of diffs, while there were a lot of hard-fought efforts within individual players, it's just crazy that it came down to that. Again, my thought is like, imagine picking an MVP for this. Good luck. Not our job. Wait, actually might be.
Good luck, Twitter, voting for that. I feel like that's going to be very even.
Oh, yeah.
Who you got? I think it's rough. Because Kadui had a great MF performance. You had the Viega from Skumon, Paris.
Oh, Paris had some rough games, but still.
Rico did really well consistently, I feel like. Especially in that last performance on the Yone, I feel like his laning phase was very, very good. 2-0 from the very start.
Brock didn't say anything. He's like, you know what? I ain't touching that. I ain't touching that.
Well, I think this is the perfect position to be in, where you have a team of 5 players that really came together, where everybody obviously deserves to be standing, lifting the trophy. Great coaching staff behind them, of course, and wow, what a series.
I mean, insane. Again, I feel like my favorite, you know, Game 2 from Vitality was a real big turnabout. Game 3 was a lot of fun. It was a very close game. And there was, you know, a lot of that individual effort. And I sound like a broken record. But there were like small plays within that 3rd game that defined the series, that defined for BDSA. Yeah, no MVP from me. I think I've got a vote. I think I've got a vote. I'm not sure. Skumon was insane. Genax had great laning phases. Like, imagine having to lane versus that Vayne top.
Riot's bringing back multiple honors. I think.
Bring it back.
Honorable?
Yeah.
I think they were all great. I think this is the micro level, I keep saying it, the macro in general, denying the cross maps.
Am uitat să dau aici, scuze.
Tare. Da, chiar foarte tare.
Faină finală, da, m-am uitat la ultimul meci, în mod special.
Chiar a fost tare, chiar a fost tare. Eu mă duc în thumbnail-ul
Well, you've got to keep in mind for these guys, they've kind of been on top of the mountain the entire time. All the other teams have tried to climb up and reach them, but no matter who approached them, they just didn't give them a chance. No breathing room allowed.
Pro play, like there's no negatives whatsoever. That the whole series missed the positive, right? I know what you are. Positive as well.
That was relatively positive. I feel the series was great.
It was. Again, we didn't
După ce-l termin, da? Nu,
we
e
are waiting
whatever.
for the interview on stage. That will be
E mai bine
towards
decât
as
ce
soon
le-ai
as
fost.
possible.
Cred. E mai bine decât
It's
ce le-ai
just
fost
been
acum.
crazy as a year. Like EMEA Masters Spring to now, I thought the quality dropped.
Bine.
Nu
Nu primim și noi ceva că ne-am uitat la finală? Ba da, frate. Stai așa, frate, vă dau acum. Hai, primiți codurile astea, primiți-le, da? Vi le dau pe chat, da? Le prindeți, da?
We talked about it at the start of day, and the new format led way to more BO5s. That best of 16 stage, that quarter-final stage was huge. As you can see on stage, finally that's enough from us yapping. It's been an absolute pleasure. Law
Și următorul care îl deschide, să ia pe următorul cod, da? Ăsta să luați, da? Hai.
Oh, the players aren't mic'd up enough.
Technical.
Yeah, we'll wait for it.
Gata, m-am dat și skin-uri.
And so instead we get to sit
Mai zic ceva băieții ăștia.
and think about League of Legends a little bit more. Yo, we need to get rid of what champion we need to get rid of.
Maokai.
Maokai.
It has been too dominant for too long. This champion has had a 60+% win rate in competitive for about 2.5 years. I hate this champion.
Okay, good note to end on. Finally, some negativity.
Perfect.
We are already on stage for the interviews.
Awesome.
Thanks, gents, and we'll hand it over to Law.
Alții
Thank
sunt
you so
invitați
much,
acolo,
guys.
eu sunt
Munich,
invitat
one
aici.
more time, please, for you 2024 Summer EMEA Masters Champions, BDS Academy.
Să vă scuțăm cu Luci.
You guys have worked so hard all year for this. Rika, I'm going to come to you first because we had an interview ahead of the game. I could feel a bit of nerves coming into this stage, coming in front of the audience, playing in this arena. Now that you lifted the trophy, how do you feel?
I feel amazing. Yes, of course, there's a lot of nervousness going on. Even talking right now, I feel like I'm a bit nervous in front of all those people.
They're only here for you and cheer for you. There you go.
Yeah, and when it comes to in-game, I do believe I was pretty calm in-game. Like, of course, there's a bit of heat of the moment, and you get a bit dragged along with your teammates and everything. But overall, I think I kept a cool head, and I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
And of course, that we won as well.
Just
makes it all a bit better.
And you brought it till the end to lift this trophy in the Eskimo. Felicitations. Congratulations on becoming the champion. What was the first thought that crossed your mind when you lifted that trophy before taking a tour in the arena?
Just really grateful and proud of everything we have achieved. Like, we've been like through so much stuff with this team, a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and like coming here and finally winning the trophy is like the best thing that could happen to me, and yeah, I'm just really happy.
It is crazy how you guys came together actually this year, and how strong you've become within the LFL, how strong and dominant you became throughout the EU Masters run. What do you attribute this success to? What made you so strong this run, would you say, Rika?
I would say our openness to discussion, and I think our coaches have been doing a really good job, especially Avendir. I don't think we have easy personalities, but he's like the guy to make it work for everyone, so big shout out to him, but also to Mauro. It's like one guy is there for the personalities and the other one is there for in-game stuff, always making sure we keep up with the basics. And yeah, with this combination, it was quite easy. And of course, the individual talent that our young boys here, Skewmont and Paus, are bringing in.
You were saying it, Skewmont, you went through ups and downs. You've seen it all from the middle of the pack team in the LFL last year to finally lifting your first trophy in the LFL and the EMEA Masters trophy as well. How do you reflect on the achievements you had over the past 2 years and especially this one?
Sorry, can you repeat? I didn't understand.
How do you reflect on the achievements you had this year and the progress you've made as a player?
Yeah, I mean, like, as Steven said, I'm in the Rika. Like, I want to thank my coaches and, like, all the BDS staff who took me in this team and trusted me. And, yeah, like, I'm really proud of how everything I've did, to be honest. And, yeah, like, I think, thanks to them, I learned a lot in this team, like, leadership and everything. And I think we all of us trust each other, and it helps a lot.
Ahead of you guys in the future. But before that, we're going to hear from the coaching staff in just a moment, actually. Rika, I want to give you the final thoughts here. This is a German crowd. You got to play in front of your home crowd. Is there anything you want to share with the audience tonight?
Ja, vielen Dank, Jungs, dass ihr alle dabei seid. Ich danke. Sehr, sehr cool, so viel Unterstützung hier zu bekommen. Und ich will auch insbesondere meiner Familie,
Bă, da, o performanță uimitoare din partea... Ia uite ce multe persoane sunt.
Muss man auch mal sagen, alle geben sich Mühe, hier dabei zu sein, mich zu unterstützen.
Mulțumesc foarte mult, nu, stai că ne mai uităm o dată.
Thank you so much to all of us who came here.
Zic, vezi, sunt foarte multe persoane care au venit la finala de la
Aber Lukas,
thank you to my friends, thank you to my family as well. Guys, thank you so much for this interview. Congratulations once again on being the EMEA Masters 2024 Summer Champions. And Ginny, over to you on stage with the rest of this year.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Thank you everyone here in Munich. the stage and we enjoyed with the coaching staff. Thank you, Arvinder, for joining Paris, as well as Gen X. I just want to say congratulations to every single one. I know you're not a coach, you're a player. Don't worry about that. So let's talk about the emotions that you guys have right now, because looking in front of you, there is a sea of people who are here to support you. They've been supporting you throughout the entirety of this best of 5. What was that experience like, stepping on stage and hearing everybody cheer?
I mean, it was really amazing to play in this arena, like the feeling of being surrounded by fans supporting you. And every time I walked on stage, I could really feel the energy from everyone supporting me. And yeah, it was an amazing experience.
Paris?
Yeah, it was insane feeling, to be honest. Winning the trophy with this team feels really good. And I believe everyone deserves in our team, our coach staff as well. We worked really hard and we got what we deserved.
The coaching staff, definitely something to talk about here as well, because when we're looking at BDS, you know, you guys had an incredible summer split, first seed from the LFL. You're then coming through in EMEA Master Finals. You're winning it 3-1 in this best of 5 series. What has the journey been like for you to prepare the team for this moment?
I mean, I said it like to the guys today as well. Before we went on stage, we had a very crazy year. Like we played so many games. We started so early. Like our level was. It's also why our level was so high from the start. But we went through a lot. Like we also had a really good spring. Like we went 15-3 in spring, and then we lost finals. Then we got reverse swept in EMEA semis. So yeah, it just feels really good that we showed everybody that like the spring split was not what was not like our final form.
The summer split is, and with that you take the trophy home. Also want to touch upon the fact that when we're looking at BDS as an organization, whether it's you guys or whether it's different roster in different games, there always seems to be a sense of community. There is some really fun content that you guys did for those winning moments in the LFL. What was it like to be part of that as a player?
I mean, BDS is an amazing organization where you really feel like home. And yeah, I think throughout this whole year, the losses, the wins, everything, we stuck together. I think that's the most important part that also brought us to this trophy here today, is that no matter what, we didn't give up, we didn't get too mad at each other. We always kept working, and BDS gave us the perfect foundation for that. So yeah.
How would you do it as a player to not get tilted or a little angry at each other when things maybe don't go your way? How do you stay as a brotherhood?
Like it was an insane feeling, getting the support from BDS as well. Their stuff was really good. They keep supporting us, and we feel it really good. And yeah, I'm really happy to be in BDS.
Well,
I didn't really get the information. I can't really hear it.
That is all good. It all paid off, and still your answer was incredible. But we are ready for the MVP reveal with Lore, so do let us know. Guys, who do you think will be the MVP? I guess we'll find out, Lore. Let us know.
Rudy.
I want it now, and I ain't never gonna back down. I want it now, and I ain't never gonna back down. I want it now, and I ain't never gonna back down. I want it now, and I ain't never gonna back down. I am no regular citizen. Nope. Do you understand what you're witnessing? You cannot tell what the difference is. I want it all, and I'm winning it. I do not care about opinions. Time to make a few decisions, so I can take a position. I'ma go get it, I'm punching and kicking. I keep on moving, they off of me. Just do it and stop at our talking G. I'm not expressing no modesty. I can't see nobody stopping me. If there's a problem, I gotta solve it. Straight to the top, I can't see myself falling. I gotta grab it, there's no time for stalling. Number one stunner, don't have other options. Now I'm fired up. I'm sorry, brother, your time's up. I see the top and I climb up. I came from the ashes, I rise up.
MVP, AD carry, Aqirys. So one trophy was not enough, Aqirys. Apparently you got the MVP as well. Looking at the best place for these finals, thinking about your year, thinking about your achievements, how proud are you to get this one right now?
Just very proud. Proud of everything. Proud of the journey that has been from day one, practicing with this team, and it all paid off.
It was a brotherhood, as Genex said it on stage. I feel like you all connected together at the right moment, at the perfect moment. What was your role in making this team shine?
I'm going to be honest, at the start on this team, I kind of had to find a new role for myself, because before in other teams, I felt like I was always the carry and I was always being played around. And in this team, we have too many skilled individuals, too many skilled players, so that for me, it was kind of hard to get the resources that I want, get the time spent around me that I want. And at the start, I had to adapt. But now in the end, I think everything works so perfectly, so smooth that, I just found my role.
Where do you see the biggest progress for you maybe throughout the year, the biggest achievements you had, and what makes you a standout AD carry today?
I mean, I think I know what I need to do in every sequence of the game. I think I played the team fights good. I played the early laning phase good, and I think I also just this series communicated very good. So yeah, I think this was the standout points.
You got 1 trophy in summer, 1 trophy in EMEA Masters summer, 1 MVP trophy, your dad, to witness all of it with you, Munich to cheer for you as well. How do you feel right now, Kedui?
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, everyone. It feels surreal right now.
I can expect that with so much success within your lineup, I don't know what awaits you guys, but maybe it was the last dance of this BDS Academy roster. Wishing you the best here. What are your expectations for next year, Kedui?
Yeah, like every year, teams split up, and I think we all 5 have showed really good gameplay throughout the whole year, and there's probably been some LEC teams looking at us this whole year, and this was probably our last game together, and I just hope that for next year we will all maybe actually end up in an LEC team, maybe not together, but play against each other next year. That would just be my dream.
Too many more games, if not together, against each other. Munich, one last time for Kedui, please. Congratulations once again. I'm going to let you join your team on stage. And Ginny, over to you again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Laure. And thank you once again, Munich, for being here and sticking around one last time. BDS Academy, I want to talk to you guys individually and hear your emotions coming into this experience, but also how you're feeling right now. So I'll start with you, Genex, and then we can hear from everyone individually.
How I'm feeling right now?
And your emotions coming into this.
Yeah, my emotions coming into this, I think I was very confident that we would take it home today. I also expected us to do it in 4 games. I know that even when we lose, we adapt really well, better than our opponents did during the whole tournament. So yeah, I was very confident, and it feels really nice to achieve what we honestly started working for in December last year.
I feel good. I think we did a good series with the team. I just had one disgusting game, to be honest. I'm a bit embarrassed by the draft performance, but other than that, I'm proud with my team. Everyone played really good, and my AD carry is kinda good.
Kinda good.
Kinda good.
Yeah, I think for me this was a lot about like redemption in a way as well. Like with the 3 Germans here, I go kind of way back. Like with Tim and with Kedui and Rika, I already lost in EMEA semi-final in 21. We lost another one this spring split where I felt like drafts were really bad and like just preparation was really bad. So it was a lot about doing it like for the group, because I felt like it was kind of owed to them. And we just like, I think everybody here on this stage has been around in ERLs and some in LEC for so long, and this title was missing. So yeah, now the collection is kind of complete for most of them.
Absolutely, you're adding another one to the cabinet. Thank you as well. And I know you guys don't have microphones, so I won't make it awkward unless you really want to. Okay, you're just like, no, you're good to go. Well, once again, if you guys are okay with it, maybe a final bow for the people who have stuck around, the real fans that are here to hear from you guys. Can we hear it one more time for BDS Academy?
3, 2, 1. It was so random.
Thank you everyone for coming today, and thank you those at home for tuning in as well. Remember, tomorrow, the LEC semifinals, G2 going up against MDK. There is an expo as well. Make sure that you guys check it out. But once again, congratulations to you guys. Enjoy your trophy, enjoy this victory. You'll be at the expo tomorrow as well for a meet and greet for those of you who want to go say hi. Take care of yourselves, guys, and we'll see you